How can I change what? We landed here. It's not the same sun, this is despair. One of us came up, none of us cared. They want to change up, life isn't fair. It's how we made, huh? Now you aware. It's why you fear us, this why you scared. They over the hilltop, I see them right there. They'll wait for the kill shot, they'll sit and they'll stare. If we got a real shot for us, it's up there. We're hopeless if we stop, they'll kill us right here. Living in death's den, run through the best winds, storming the front gates. Whatever gets us in, whatever gets us over, whatever helps us win, whatever we must do. Rescuing our kids, as long as they get through it, don't matter if we live. God chose to bless you, I'll take all that death gives. I'm into this war ends, in memory of dead friends. Hope of a new way when all of this death ends. Who can we call on? It's me and it's all y'all. We're here by our lonesome, nobody to fall on. Flesh in the dirt, fire to ashes. Fate getting closer every moment that passes. Running away, no one is there. No one to save us, nothing to spare. How can I change what? We landed here. It's not the same sun, this is despair. One of us came up, none of us cared. They want to change up, life isn't fair. It's how we made, huh? Now you aware. It's why you fear us, this why you scared. Show me a safe place, does it exist? It must be a wasteland where nobody lives, that nobody knows of, where nobody's been. Where we at is warfare, every kind you can get. What you can't get is real love or fucking respect. Set up for failure, a life of neglect. If none of us stand up, we'll live with regrets. If we rise, we might die, I call that a good death. What would I live for if I am oppressed? How can I raise up with the world on my chest? Who's gonna save us if you and I rest? They shoot us in cold blood when under arrest. Lock us in cold cells, consider it home now. Cut off from emotion, our feelings are stone now. Our buildings are blown out, the madness is so loud. It's dark and there's no sound, we gotta go now. Running away, no one is there. No one to save us, nothing to spare. How can I change what? We landed here. It's not the same sun, this is despair. One of us came up, none of us cared. They want to change up, life isn't fair. It's how we made, huh? Now you aware. It's why you fear us, this why you scared. The illness is prevalent, natives malevolent. Hunger, starvation now, no hope for a heaven sent. Kiss the babies goodbye, say I love you to wives. Grab your weapons, get your steps in, we gon' ride when it rise. The sun mean what when it's blinding your eyes? Put the wind to your back, leave them facing the sky. Put the pain in the dirt, raise your bloody fist high. Use your brain, do the work, strategize and survive. The rush of the dust up, the thrill of the gun bust. The satisfaction of our reaction when there's no one to help us. The spoils of war, the hunger for more. The passion of how we smashing what we hate through the floor. The rage, the loneliness of dead on the page. To cleanse this land, gotta burn more than the sage. Crush the cage, body and soul unafraid. Kill them all and set them ablaze. No running away, no one is there. No one to save us, nothing to spare. How can I change what? We landed here. It's not the same sun, this is despair. One of us came up, none of us cared. They want to change up, life isn't fair. It's how we made, huh? Now you aware. It's why you fear us, this why you scared. Good afternoon, beautiful people. Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Welcome to Shy Ill Reaction. I am your host, Shy Ill, and we are back in the building with another one. Salutes to y'all for being here. I appreciate you all. I've appreciated you guys all year. I've appreciated you guys all week. And what a hell of a week it has been. Welcome. Hope everyone's feeling good on this. What is it, Thursday afternoon, Thursday early evening, afternoon and evishness. Shout out to the chat. Salutes to y'all. We got a lot to talk about today, all right? The plan was not to go live. The plan was to continue building out these edits and these videos and making sure that they out there. I don't know how many I've done. We'll talk about that in a bit. But we've been moving on this channel, and it's been to our benefit, as y'all can see. We was, 4,000 and something last time we saw each other. We up to, 5,129 subs. I appreciate all the new subs. Thank you guys for being here. Make sure you guys wipe your feet on the way in and hit that like button. It's the simplest thing, the freest thing, the easiest thing that you guys can do for this channel. But again, salutes to all the all the newcomers,
Go on, get in the live chat and shake hands with a couple of the usual suspects that will be around on a regular basis. They usually are around on a regular basis. But make yourselves at home. Just, be respectful. At the end of the day, it's my house. You know what I mean? But yeah, so we back, man. It's been an exciting week. Real quick, let's get to the chat real quick. Jonathan Pantoja checked in early. We going live. I'm still coming down from Saturday's high. Salute my dude, Shael. Keep doing you. Hundreds up. I appreciate you, Jonathan Pantoja. Per usual, thank you very much for being here, sir. 323G in the chat. One of the usual suspects. Hundreds up. Appreciate you. Thanks for being here. And of course, Chucky Chingong, per usual. Chucky Chingong in the house. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for being here. Salutes to everyone. Saludos to everyone. Right? Once again, little housekeeping out the way. Just so you guys know, in the description, there's a link to get your comment directly on the screen. For a $2 minimum, you could get your comment on the screen and it'll look like this.
Test user sent $50 test message.
Boom. So you can do that at any time. There is a link in the description. If there's any problem with it, you let me know. Also, we have super chats, super thanks, all of that good stuff that YouTube provides to help you guys continue to support the channel. So make sure you guys utilize those if you can. What I know that everyone can do is hit that like button. That's for sure. So I'd appreciate it if we keep the like buttons as close as we can to how many views we're getting, and that would be lovely. That would help a lot. We're trying to move this channel forward. All right. And one more sponsor of this channel would be our Spread Shop. So y'all can check it out. Salutes to El Cacico. Salud amigo from La Tuna. Salutes to you. Thank you for being here, sir. I appreciate you. Please hit the like button. I hope you're having a great day. Y'all check out the Il Shop. All right, I will drop the link in the live chat. This is another sponsor of this channel. Another way you can support the channel. Paste. We got our Pillow Talk pillowcase covers. No pillow talk. Zero pillow talk for the young hustler in your life, so he can see it and remind himself to stay quiet. All right, we got that. What else we got? We got shirts. Different colors, Il Cartel, right? Different color combinations. Boom. You do that right there with your Tiffany's or your South Beaches, right? Got a bunch of stuff there for y'all to check out. All right, different color combinations. We also got for the backyard boss in your life, we have the El Guapo apron, barbecue apron, not to be mistaken with El Chapo. Right? Or the Gomez twins. Boom. Got that. Different color combinations for the metal of the man cave in your home. Right? Different color combos of that too. You guys can go to the shop. Here it is in the chat. I'll pin it to the top. We got hats. We got all kind of stuff in there. So y'all can check that out at your discretion. Boom. I pinned up the link to the shop up top. Y'all can check that out. Again, another way to support this channel and keep us moving forward. It's a lot of work goes on here. And you guys are the linchpin. We do this one for you. So, we got that stuff out of the way. What else can we talk about here, housekeeping wise? Please hit the like button, right? Got 8 concurrent viewers right now. I see only 1 like. That's heartbreaking. And, I'm going to be number 2, so make sure y'all jump on that. Let's keep that popping. All right? Let's talk. How do you guys feel? How do you guys feel after Saturday? How was Saturday? We had a good time. We had an all-time high of viewers in the chat. We was deep. Salutes Big Changs in the chat. Welcome back, brother. What's up, homeboy? What's good? I send mine to you. Keep doing your thing. I appreciate you, Big Changs. Salutes. I appreciate it. We're back. we're back after Saturday. Saturday, boom, we chopped it up with the twins for about 2 hours. Jay had to cut out a little early, but Pete stood down and talked for a little while longer. And we got to a couple of things, a couple of names, and spoke about a couple of people. 2 hours went really quick, and there's always gonna be some people that are gonna be like, yo, we didn't get this question answered or that question answered. Well, my thought is that they will be back and we will get to more questions and they will answer what they want to answer. That goes for them. That goes for anybody else. Shout out Perfecto J777. Fire emojis. Yo, thanks for asking the Griselda question to the twins. Great interview. Yeah, I kind of knew that they were going to answer it that way because I knew the math. But it was a good question to ask because it leads to me being able to put her name in the title and use it as clickbait. Got to do what you got to do, right? But salute to you for asking the question, Perfecto. I appreciate it. 323G say, yeah, thanks for asking some of my questions. Salutes to you. Chucky Chigon said, I had one question someone else asked that was, did Cato owe them for the bricks at the time? And we will get into that next time because that's come up and it will come up again in what we're going to cover today. But it's come up in the comments. A lot of things have come up in the comments. Just most of it the same stuff, you know what I'm saying? Stuff that we just didn't get to, or, a couple of angry people. But for the most part, people with their opinions, respectful people with their opinions. And I can't be mad at somebody with a respectful opinion. It's the disrespectful opinions. And when you try to sun me, now we're talking about something else, and that's when I got to bite back. So we'll be talking a little bit about that today, too. Shout out to one of the usual suspects in the building, Mr. 030 North. What's good, bro? Just got in. I'm here. Salutes. Hope you had a great vacation, brother. Hope you was lit most of the time. Look at that. Even on vacation, 030 North was checking in on the premieres and hollering. And then at one point, I'm sure that liquor was flowing to the point where there was no more typing after that. Chucky Chingung said, I got a shout out. That was dope. Want to use it for my mixtape. Need a drop from you too. No problem. I got you. Yeah, and I'm sure it won't be the last time you hear your name from them. I'm thinking about hosting some after live stream after parties in the Discord. Where we go in the Discord and we talk about the episode or whatever comes to mind for about a half an hour. Y'all think about it. You know what I'm saying? Jordan Bracamontes, Flores Twins interview brought me here. They knew my pops well. Woody, shout out from LA. Salutes to you, Jordan. I appreciate you being here. I'm glad you're hanging out. Welcome. Make sure you hit that like button. That like button helps us move forward. But it is what it is. But again, I appreciate you for being here. Think Like a Kingpin checking in the chat. Salutes to you, sir. Jordan, you angel son? Think Like a Kingpin. 030 North. I'm still here in Santo Domingo. I bet my friend $100 you were gonna get 100 people on here. Well, we beat that. So tell him if he needs proof, I got it. You know what I'm saying? We beat that. So salutes to you on the $100. He owes you $100. Don't let him watch on you. All right, have another drink too. Enjoy. Have fun. I wish I was on vacation. I'll get there. We'll see what happens. All right. But yeah, it was a good show. It was a good turnout. It's been a great response. It's been averaging the first day was averaging like 300 views an hour type deal. I'm sure it should get more. I'm sure it should keep pushing. We're waiting for YouTube to help. We've been doing this on our own. But we've gotten a lot of subscribers. It's moving up fast. The analytics are looking good. One second. All right. Again, y'all know when there's text messages are good too. We had a lot of good conversations in the chat. For those that don't know, Spider Loke ended up in the chat last night. So we'll go see if those comments are still there later. We'll talk about it here. What else? That's pretty much it for housekeeping. Again, I thank you guys for being here. Let's get into it. So, first and foremost, I want to talk about the platform in general. All right, this platform in general is, again, it started with me coming to do reactions, and I was reacting to a little bit of everything, and ended up reacting to the Flores Twins podcast, and that took the channel on to another lane. And again, there's still other things that I do, but this be the main focus of this channel is Cartel Talk and the Flores Twins story, right? And all of the little things around it. That's basically what this platform has been, and that's what's been moving this platform forward. Big Changs, think like a man. What's up? Think like a kingpin. What's up, bro? They finally let me out. It's your move. One sec. Boom. Think like Kingpin said, bro, get with me. I want to say hello, but I'm gonna let you win. But I'm gonna let you win next time. So I guess there's some competitive shit going on there. But anyways, the platform has been that, and I've said multiple times on this platform that this place is not just a playground for the Flores Twins story, for them to tell their story and be unchallenged or whatever. I've always said that if there's somebody out there that believes they've been wronged by the Twins, and I can vet that information or vet who they are, and that would be, something that's real and not just some troll up here lying to me, they have a platform here too. I'm not here to discriminate against anybody's, beef when it comes to shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Think like a kingpin said, bro, you went kind of soft on them. I planned to go soft on them. Again, I'm not here to ruin anybody's contractual obligation, but if you're gonna talk, I'm gonna let you talk. If you feel like you need to say something, I'm nobody that's gonna stop you from saying it, and I'm not gonna coerce anybody into saying something that they don't want to say on here either. I went with what the audience offered that night. I didn't really even get into my own questions. Every now and then I'd say something that, I thought was poignant to what we were talking about. But it was a quick conversation, and there wasn't a place for me to do the grilling. And I'm hoping that time will come. I'm hoping there comes a time when they're not held back by exclusive contracts and movie rights and TV rights and all that good shit. You know what I'm saying? Sam Germ, salute to you in the chat. Appreciate you being here. Yo, what's good? Let Margarito. No Traffic said, what's up? Salutes to you. Appreciate it. Thanks for being here. Hit that like button. We're hanging out. We're finding all of the Twins' old friends over all of this. So, we'll see what happens. Chucky Chingong in the chat said, can't chase them off the first show. You were fair, bro. And that was it. That's all I'm trying to be. It's fair. And sometimes motherfuckers ain't fair to me. But that's cool. I got my own mouth to speak, and I use it thoroughly to speak. So sometimes people get in the chat and they got a beef and they're frustrated. Had somebody say today, why do you even entertain these Flores Twins? After all, Chapo did for them and all this shit. And it's like, why do I entertain them? The same reason you're watching. That was my answer. The same reason you're watching is the same reason I entertain their story. Because it's entertaining. And that's why the fuck you're here. So what are you bitching about? Alright? That's easy. Whatever. No sweat off my back. You gave me the views. You gave me the view. And you came and you complained. Cool. No big deal. But again, a respectful opinion is always better than a disrespectful opinion. Double check here. So last night I ran into somebody. Was it last night or was it today? No, it was today. It was today. It was this afternoon or this morning, something like that. And Buddy has something to say. And it's been a lot about backtracking this week and moonwalking. So I'm gonna address the situation here. Mind you, this person that I had this back and forth with deleted all of their comments. Right? They talked a lot of shit and they deleted their comments. Authority North Hunt is up in the chat. Chucky Chingong said, all I know is if someone kidnapped me, then said it's all good, I will be plotting revenge for that. But who you talking about? The man got kidnapped multiple times. You know what I'm saying? Let me know. So the man that I was talking with in the comments, he made it his business to delete everything. But the art of technology, shout out Think Like a Kingpin in the chat, Hunt is up. The art of technology dictates that I have screenshots. Shout out Billy Finnegan checking in the chat. Hundreds up. Chucky Chingong said Chapo. So he said, all I know is if Chapo kidnapped me, then said it's all good, I would be plotting revenge after that. Yeah, like, I think at the end of the day, when you realize business is business, right? And you think to yourself, it's just as much, it's just like, let's say you own a jewelry shop, you know, and you're an employee. At the end of the day, your boss is your boss and he has no loyalty to you, right? Depending on character. I feel like they were in a business where they felt like they didn't have no loyalty to anybody because nobody else had loyalty to each other. It was a business running like a business, and until that fragile loyalty construct fell apart, there was no reason to do nothing. You know what I'm saying? But when the time came, it was like they did whatever they did. And if they would have gone the other way, that would have been expected too. There's no loyalty in this game. You know, especially in that's the cartel, Cartell. You know what I'm saying? The cartel. It's something that they do. You know what I mean? No honor amongst thieves. Facts. You know, and it was treated accordingly. It's part of the story. It is what it is. But again, so this person deleted their comments, but the art of technology dictates that I have a screenshot. Salutes to Janet Girarte for the subscription. I appreciate you being here. Thank you very much. So here we go. This is Buddy's first comment. All right? I'm going to read it to you. With all its fuck-ups, maybe I fix something. I don't know. I might edit the bad typing eventually. His name is EL. I don't know, whatever. What a country where even snitches can be celebrities. And a man that holds his own, shuts his mouth, survives on his own without snitching, stealing, or stepping on toes, gets ostracized by the community he fed. Lost everything and everyone, and still will never talk. 23 years on the run, evading a life sentence. I'm the opposite of these rooster suckers. See what I did there, YouTube? I did what he did so that you don't demonetize me. The opposite of these rooster suckers. An example to them. Vomit emoji. Alright? Bet. Chucky said the age of internet banging is here. Chucky, they could miss me with that bullshit. I'm too old for it. You know what I mean? Get the fuck out of here. Alright? So many times on this channel you guys have heard me say the guy that stood 10 toes down or the person that always did the right thing is not the person that this country wants to hear from or talk to or make a film about. All right? Every now and then you'll get your made-for-TV movie, right? But that is always deep in tragedy as well, right? This is what we feed the people, right? So I am of the same sentiment that the people that do the right thing, the people that don't, commit all these crimes and become these internet notorious gangsters, right? Nobody wants to talk to them, right? That's the sentiment that I'm always talking about that, right? 323G said, interesting. Is Jay said you have to be at the level to understand. It's not the same when you speak from the bottom up. Yeah, like there's this perspective for a reason, right? What is the word perspective? It's from the level of which you see something, right? So if there's a mountain, right? And most of you guys in the comments are at the bottom of that mountain, and you look over, all you see is the mountain. And when you look the other way, you see the valley, right? Up to the next mountain. But that's all you can see right there. But if you move up and you're standing at the peak of that, the way they were, you can see the entire landscape for as far as the eye can see, as far as the horizon can hold them, right? And that's the part people don't understand. And everybody thinks they're privy to the same sight, insight, and perspective, and they're not. So they say what they say, and that's cool. You know what I mean? I'm just here to scrutinize all of the shit. The story, the way it's told, all of this shit, right? And the rumors, and the bullshit. And people like to say, oh, but the streets is talking. Yeah, but I've known in the years of my life that the street lies. And the street's misinformed. And the street's confused. And the street's not that smart sometimes. You know what I mean? That's the part that y'all don't fucking understand. That you part of that part. But you'll never, never enough evidence for a fool. You'll never peep that of yourself. You'll never see that of yourself. That's cool. Whatever. Big Chang's in the chat said, that's right, bro. Keep it real, raw, and uncut. And it's easy for a lot of people to say things when they're on the sidelines. That's why I like you, bro. Appreciate you, Big Chang. Salute to you. Appreciate it. Right? So boom, so people ain't got that perspective. But this guy right here, he says this, right? And he alludes to the fact that he's been on the run for 23 years. Cool, right? Cool. Me, being who I am, right? Being who I am, I decide, why not? Let me make sure I get the right one. Here we go. Why don't I just ask Buddy who he is? Not who he is. Don't give me your name. You're on the run. I get it. Shout out Chucky Chingong. You're doing an awesome job, brother. That's why you got a solid foundation. I appreciate you, Chucky. Thank you. So then, so I said, who are you? Let's talk about it. Right? I said, who are you? Let's talk about it. Not who are you, like, give me your name. Let me, I'm not Sean Penn. Cape de Castillo. You know what I mean? Who are you? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Here's a platform for you, right? Who's crying, complaining that we come from a country that celebrates cooperators, rats, snitches, whatever you want to call them, right? Criminals, bad people, not stand-up people, right? I'm going to give you this platform. I have a platform. Let me give you my platform, right? I offer it to him. Like I've always said, if there's somebody out there that has been affected negatively by the twin story, right? You can be on this platform too. I'm not holding nobody off this platform, right? His response to me is, after I just offered, he said, oh, they're celebrities. They make celebrities out of these guys. I'm a stand-up guy. Lost everything. I'm ostracized by my community. Blah, 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 all this shit, right? And then he says, I don't talk to snitches or their buddies or followers or, and I'm sure the man could have pronounced it in English, right? Idolaters or idolatros, right? Idolatros, right? That's his response. I don't talk to snitches or their buddies or followers or idolaters, right? So I'm like, I just offered you a platform to speak. You just cried about not having a voice. I just offered you a platform to speak. And now you're saying, I don't talk to snitches or their buddies or their followers. So now I don't know, I'm a buddy? So... and I'm an idolater and a follower and all of that. But I just offered you a platform, right? All right. Chucky Chico said, why would you even say you're running? That should tell you that there's an attention whore. Good job, buddy. No. Chucky, we outside. All right? We outside. Smoke them if you got them. 030 North said, I heard Alpo was slapping people around when he got a prison in New York. Not only was he slapping people around, what he was doing was, you call him a snitch? he'll find you and make you take a picture with him so that he could post a picture and show the world that you ain't got no fucking problem. So you was talking online, but you took a picture with him. You should have busted his ass when he came to get that picture with you. If you were talking online like you was going to bust his ass because he was a rat, when he came to take that picture with you, you should have busted his ass, but you didn't. You took the picture and he put it online and he knew exactly what he was doing up to the day they got him. Right? All right. There we go. We got that out the way. Woo! Let's get it. So he said, I don't talk to snitches or their buddies or followers or idolaters, right? Chucky Chico said also was checking fools and had 2 bodies, supposedly, allegedly. I don't doubt it. The guy was, you know, he was that guy. That guy that is just no code. No code. The code is to himself. So anyways, so after he said that, I said, see if I could zoom this up real quick. Let's see. Oh, there you go. I said, but you're here, talking, commenting. I offered you a place to speak for the people who stand tall, and you refused and insulted me. You talk about, you don't talk to their followers, but you're one of them. Right here, right now, commenting. So miss me with your anger and saltiness. I gave you a platform and you denied it. Don't complain about not having a voice. Run. Right? Could have been disrespectful. You know? I can often be quickly disrespectful. You know? When disrespected. But, you know, told him, man, shut your mouth. You know what he said? When I said miss me with your anger and saltiness, you know what I thought of? I thought of what one of the twins said when he said there's 2 kinds of people in jail, or 2 type of felon or something like that. The ones that snitched and the ones that wished they did. I felt like this asshole was one of the ones that wished he did, right? He's sitting here, you know, condemning them and condemning the country, you know, for making celebrities out of them, right? Complaining about them. But in reality, it sounds like you missed your shot, bro. I feel like you go back 23 years in your mind and say, damn it, I should have gave up everybody. Because look at them now. Either they're down and out and got nothing, or they're doing better than him. Right? So that's where that came from. So miss me with your anger and saltiness. I gave you a platform and you denied it. Don't complain about not having a voice. Run. Right? AKA, shut the fuck up. Miss me with that shit. All right? Shout out Alberto Flores on the check-in in the chat. Appreciate you. Let's get that like button up, y'all. 15 of us in here, 9 likes. Alberto Flores said on the run for 23 years, but you specifically search up an interview with the twins on YouTube for what? For ego? I don't think homie's on here glamorizing that life. He just reporting news. Facts. I'm not here glamorizing shit. You know? I think any 15-year-old kid probably don't know no better. And his circumstances probably ain't good enough for him not to. But if he willfully puts himself in the game, he made a mistake. That's my belief. Why? Because I know the game. I know the streets. I know nobody can be trusted. You think I ever had my share of people, what's the word, betraying me? Shit. I come from betrayal. You don't go to the places I've been and be an MC at my level in this city without dealing with betrayal. The streets and the music business here connected, always has been. You know? Old 30 North said, wow, I didn't know that part. What part you talking about, Old 30 North? He laughing. You know, I understand betrayal. I get it. Shout out John Donovan for the subscription. I appreciate you. Thank you, sir. Please hit that like button. Appreciate you for being here. Right? Bet. So, where was I? So it's like, I know the game is, I'm not here to glorify none of it. I know the game is bad. So for him to put me, for Buddy that commented, to put me in a position where it's like I'm some kind of dirtbag or something because I'm talking to people. Like, you know, I was like, what are you, and what gutter are you judging me? You know what I mean? I was smart enough to not end up on the run for 23 years. How about that? Fuck are you talking about, right? Boom. So I told him to run. All right. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. Y'all with me? All right. We Yo, they be wilding the fuck out. So I told him that, and he told me this. Usted también hágase hombre. No se vaya a tropezar. What am I in, a fucking novela? Lucy in the sky with diamonds. Siéntese, señor. Leave Shy alone. This is news talk, not high school. Oh, no. Lucy, we're going to get to that high school part in a second. I'm so glad you said the word high school. It's hilarious, all right? Thank you for saying that. I appreciate you, Lucy in the sky with diamonds. I appreciate you. Here we go. We're going to get to that. This is in the novela right here. Usted también hágase hombre. No se vaya a tropezar. So in English, he said for me to be a man and not trip myself up. All right? I don't need no consejos from you, old man. All right? I survived what the fuck I survived by being me. By figuring out for myself. I don't need your help. All right? Now, don't get it twisted. Don't think I'm going to be responding to trolls all the time. I just thought this was interesting to the conversation. Because there's a lot of people out there that were stand-up guys and that didn't talk on nobody and that did do 20, 30 years. You know what I'm saying? And they got just as much room on this platform if it's relevant to the stories that I'm telling as anybody else. So don't bring your bullshit to the table and try to check me. Chucky said, you out in the streets, bro. You can't be a buster and be in the mix. Yeah, they could. Listen. You know what I mean? So dude right here is on some other shit. So boom, there's that. Usted también hágase hombre, no se vaya a tropezar. All right. Then I responded, you're a commenter, a follower here. Thank you for your support. If you ain't going to speak for yourself, don't be mad when no one wants to talk to you about being a stand-up guy that doesn't snitch. Right? Again, still extremely respectful to somebody that's basically checking me and telling me don't trip yourself up because he's a badass. He badder than me. Cool. That's cool. That's cool. Miss me with the internet. Say it when you see me. Right? All right. So I told him, you're a commenter, a follower here. Thank you for your support. If you ain't going to speak for yourself, don't be mad when no one wants to talk to you about being a stand-up guy that doesn't snitch. Okay? All right. We got to that part. So he already checking me, telling me not to trip up. Chuck E. Cheese gonna say you sound like a novela voice. I'm trying, bro. I'm trying to get my acting on over here. They need Spanish speaking actors for these roles. Right? Shout out Big Chains. He said, ain't that the truth? All right. His response to me being respectful and telling him, thank you for your support. You don't want to speak, so basically conversation over, right? His response was, te llevaré en mi mente, right? I'll take you with me in my mind. I'll keep you in mind, right? That's a threat to me. That's somebody trying to talk tough. He's assuming I never fucking heard it before. In voice and in text, right? Hell of an assumption. Te llevaré en mi mente. Te llevaré en mi mente. Right? No 30 North said Apple making people take pictures with them. Facts. Te llevaré en mi mente. The fuck out of here. Right? My response was, you hate the truth, huh? Okay. Bye now. Right? Because now he was boring me. Now once you get to the now he's spitting movie lines. I'm gonna te llevo en mi mente. Right? All this tough shit. Right? Once you get to that, now it's like, conversation's over. I offered you a platform. You didn't want it. Shut the fuck up. Lucy said, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds said, te llevaré en mi mente. Ya se enamoró de ti, Shy. He fell in love with me already, right? Facts, Lucy. Oh, man. Oh, stranger than fiction, boy. Right? So I said, I laughed at him when he said, te llevaré en mi mente. I laughed at him and I said, you hate the truth. Okay, bye now, right? All right, bye now. Then he said, damn, he laughed at me. He didn't buy my don't trip over yourself, tough guy speech. He didn't buy my te llevo mi mente speech. He just laughed at me. He said, you hate the truth. Okay, bye, right? I diagnosed him. It's the part he don't like. He knows he hates the truth, right? Okay. Chucky Chigong said, you got me dying over here. You got it down, that voice. Right? So then he switched it up. Let me see. He switched it up to English, right? He fucked that all up, though. He switched it up to English. Hold on. In the chat, Albert Flores said, in reality, the gov out here playing everyone like a fiddle, building up a player every so many years, facilitating smuggling for them, then bust them in society's collateral damage. They always win. They don't want to stop this. We're going to cover something later. Something about Jay and his business and how he trains cops and he's trying to help them stop smugglers. Bro, the United States of America is not trying to stop the trade. That's not going to happen. That's not what it is. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so they don't want no part of that. Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds said, look at you, Shai, tienes pega. I don't even know what that means, but it's hilarious to me. Chucky Chigón said, por pendejo. So look, so he switched. He went to English, right? But Albert Flores, you're absolutely right. The government has no interest in stopping the trade. Certain words I'm not using. When I say the trade, you know what I'm talking about. They have no hopes in no want. They've been facilitating it since the beginning. It is what it is. Albert Flores said this is the biggest business for them. Easy money, easy money. It's all easy money for them. So anyways, he went to English and he said, hope to meet you one day. Hope to meet you. Hope to meet you one day. And I sat there. I didn't really sit there. It was instantly I knew what he was talking about. But let's just say I had to figure it out. I said, hope to meet you one day. I had to figure out what the fuck he was talking about, right? Jose Garcia on the check-in the chat. Salutes to you. Sha'il, what's good, Canal? What's good, bro? Boom, hun is up for you. Salutes. Appreciate you being here. Nathan Wallace. What do you think about Trump's policy of wanting to build a war to keep out narcotics and illegal immigrants? It's all bullshit. Those drugs are going to come here anyway, Nathan. Those drugs are going to come here. The United States government is going to help facilitate that and make that happen. That's just, all of this stuff is just for show. The war on it, all of this is just for the TVs. It's just for y'all to watch and have conversations back and forth. I don't entertain myself with it. I don't watch regular news. I search for what I'm looking for, and that's it. Why? Because it's all horse shit. It's a song and dance. It's a pony show. Lucy said that means you got game. Always had game. Game. I'm not missing out on game, not even a little bit, Lucy. So I appreciate your observation. Chucky G. Gomez said drugs in prisons, big business. It won't stop. Never. Trump's wall ain't gonna stop it. Unless somebody comes in and breaks the whole wheel, right? The way Daenerys was supposed to break the wheel in Game of Thrones, unless somebody comes in and destroys the whole system and puts the government, puts the country in shambles, because it's going to be way worse before it gets better. But until somebody comes in and cleans house, which I don't see happening, it ain't going to go down like that. Alberto Flores laughed it off and said Trump's daddy was built on the NYC mob, but all of a sudden, Trump forgot that. Everybody has selective memory. Everybody has selective memory, and a criminal, a politician, a cop, everybody's going to have selective memory and an ego the size of fucking Texas that does not allow them any accountability. All right. So here we go. He said, hope to meet you one day. So he meant he hopes to meet me one day. Again, another threat. Right? You hope to meet me one day? What the fuck are you going to do when you meet me one day? How are you going to meet me one day? You could hope. It's good to hope. It's good to fucking want things. But you hope to meet me one day? So that was a little bit more annoying. Now you're threatening me. You've gone 2 times. I've ignored it. You went to Spanish. Now you switched to English. You fucked that all up. And now you're saying you hope to meet me one day. Well, likewise, motherfucker. Right? Because I didn't say nothing to you. I offered you a platform. You know what I mean? You crying like a bitch about other people, being recognized and you not being heard. But now you hope to meet me one day, right? All right, bet. Shout out Chucky Chingong in the chat, said they got fake pieces on the wall that they take down to pass people. I've seen it. They also got a truck with the ladder to scale over. It's funny. Oh, the wall? Yeah, I don't doubt it. Ian in the chat on the check-in. Salutes to you, Ian. What up, Shy? Salutes to you, Ian. What up to you, bro? Appreciate you being here. Hit that like button. 19 concurrent viewers. 12 likes. Keep it moving. Right? So boom. So Buddy hopes to meet me one day, right? So my response to this was, let me see. There you go. Let me see. Likewise. But you know the truth is you have no reason to be mad at me. So likewise, yeah, say it when you see me, bro. You know what I'm saying? Say it when you see me. Because I don't understand why you trying to intimidate me over text. Over me offering you a chance to do your crying in front of more people, right? Because you was just crying in the comments. I was going to give you the opportunity to cry on camera, right? Even though I know for a fact you wouldn't show your face because you're running, right? Or it's just that is running your excuse for being a fucking coward and saying a bunch of shit behind text. Okay. Big Chang said, this is juicy. I love it. Nathan Wallace said, it's interesting that the Flores twins say that El Chapo was the boss of the Sinaloa cartel with Omayo, and yet other notable commentators on the drugs and Mexicans, including Ed Cartel. Yeah, but Nathan, I've had this argument with you before. You think the police tell the truth all the time. That's your problem. That's where there's a disconnect, bro. You know what I mean? You believe everybody that isn't these guys that you look down upon, right? So, I can't argue that. I can't argue those subjects if Ed Calderon, you know what I'm saying, who wasn't sitting up there, right? Who the twins ain't had no reason to be like Chapo's an equal. They could have said, nah, he was a punk too, But they did. But Ed Calderon and Better Yes, and I listen to these guys too. My mission is to find out who's bullshitting and take the best information that I can and utilize that for my opinion on the story, right? But, you're going to choose to you pick. It's up to you to pick and choose who you believe. That's fine. To me, I take it all with a grain of salt. Everything. High blood pressure, papas. Vincente said, what up, though? Your content is badass. Thanks. Thank you, Vincente. I appreciate you being here. Please hit that like button. Everybody, please hit that like button on the way in. If you forgot on the way in, hit it on the way out. But make sure that you hit it. All right? Wait. I missed that. What was that all about? Who was that? Let me refresh this. Let me see if that registered right here. It did not. I did not. So salute to the new subscriber, whoever you were. I appreciate you for being here. Thank you very much. Nathan Wallace said, I understand what you mean, that an insider and fellow drug dealer who is also high level is likely to be closer to the truth than a federal agent. Right. And again, they can be liars too. Right? It's just up to us to deduct. Right? And when you stonewall certain information because of your own emotions or visceral reaction, like Johnny Mitchell would say, or because of your own ideologies and stuff like that, well, then you're not having a conversation, right? It's cognitive dissonance. You got your own set of beliefs and nothing else can enter. Well, then your mind can't be changed, and the only reason you debate is for the sake of debate. I don't debate for the sake of debate. I debate to get to something. All right? Why? Because I'm open to new information, changing my perspective. And that's what people have to understand. All right? Chucky Chingong said Chapo. And then people say, oh, but that's wishy-washy. All of those things, he's a fence rider. And all of those things are things that people made throughout time to limit people's, way of doing things. And to keep everybody in the same pot. Right? The same way, if you listen to all of these sayings that we've been hearing our whole life, now here we are in the age of the internet finding out that these sayings had a different total meaning that was taken away from us. How many times in my life, being an MC, an actor, doing all of the different things that I did, jack of all trades, master of none, jack of all trades, master of none, jack of all trades, master of none. Come to find out 30 years later, but always better than a master of one, or something to that effect, right? So somebody erased the last sentence and turned that into a negative thing that was used to put people down, that was building, trying to make things happen, right? So all of those sayings and all of those things, it's just a way to not have the information. It's a way to not be smart. It's a way to not, learn anything. You don't want to learn anything. I'll say a quote from someone. Oh, he been dead 30 years. You can't learn from a dead man? Oh, you know this because you looked on YouTube and you know how to fix your car because you checked on YouTube. I've seen people insult people for learning things on YouTube. That's the most crab in a bucket bullshit I've ever seen in my life. Because I didn't learn a fucking thing in school. I learned it through experience. I learned it through the internet. I learned it through searching out and seeking the information. That's why I don't listen to stupid fucking rumors. Rumors for years. Oh, Val doesn't let Kato's mom see the kid. Val doesn't let kid. For years, rumors. And what do we do in the community? We run with these fucking rumors, and then you find out there's no kid. And then some people, when they find out there's no kid, they still don't accept it. They move on to the next thing because they don't want to change their mind. So it's like, I can't argue with you about it. That's the thing, Vicente. They used to say you could be a jack of all trades, but you're never going to master any of them. Right? But then again, you got to, so what? Do nothing? They want you to do one thing. They want to limit you to one thing. You can't be a master at both. Kanye can't be a genius at production and fashion. You know what I'm saying? Like, they limit you to one. This is our human world. This is the mentality that we're in. Right? Billy Finnegan said, can't believe everything you hear on the internet. Absolutely. What if that second line from Jack of all trades thing didn't exist and the internet lied? I like the new one better. Why? Because it's uplifting to somebody that's willing to do something and wants to master two things. You know what I mean? What's the problem? Salutes to you, Billy Finnegan, on the check-in. Who else we got in here? Let's see. I missed something. Nathan Wallace said, but it's not believable or plausible that El Chapo was insignificant in the Sinaloa cartel, as his numerous jail breakouts and the millions he paid for them is sufficient evidence that he was somebody. Absolutely. But it's a media push. Once you start hearing more than one person say it, that's the whole thing that started the GU to Chain conversation. I saw Al Prophet say, 50 said the twins got the GU in the Chain back, but that was just marketing. It was a whole lie. He said it matter-of-factly. I challenge matter-of-factly. Why did you say that? It sounds like a tactic. It sounds like you're using it as a marketing ploy. Right? And that opened up a can of worms that kept going. We'll get into that in a minute. Shout out Parks. Parks said, facts. You can learn from a dummy, a lie, and the truth. Yeah, you're right, big homie. Talk your shit. Absolutely. Absolutely. You can learn from, and it's a lesson in everything. 030 North, Vicente said exactly. Salutes to you. 030 North said it's easy to talk on the sideline. The Flores twins actually been around El Chapo Mile face to face, shook their hands, ate dinner with them. He knows who's the boss and who's not, right? Like, and what's the point of lying about it? You know? Same as I offer is, what's the point if you got bodies and you're working on a deal that's going to get you immunity or get you 12 and a half, 14 years for 100 million metric tons that you pushed in your lifetime, right? Why not throw the bodies in on that immunity? Nobody could answer that fucking question for me, but everybody says Flores twins had him unalived. Like, what are we talking about here? Why, though? Why didn't they use it? Cool. Maybe they didn't use it. Right? Whatever. No worries, 030 North. I figured it out. There's an old saying, don't rock the boat. Come in our thing hating, roll out. There's an old saying, don't rock the boat. Come in here hating, roll out. Yeah, no, like, yeah, forget Buddy. But y'all are getting my point, right? Y'all following me. We're having a good conversation. I'm with it. Shout out Ian. Ian said, imagine if nobody had an ego. Life would be good. Man, ego gets so many people killed. Listen, it was Saul's huge ego, right? And his tiny little cold heart, right? That allowed him to feel like shit because he saw the twins shopping and getting more attention and service than he was getting, right? His ego made that a thing that had him trying to be their ultimate villain all of that time. His little ego, right? His little ego, or his giant ego, right? His giant ego got him to set up his friend, get his friend locked up, and when his friend got out, had him unalive his friend. All because his friend supposedly messed with his girl. That probably wasn't even his girl. That's ego. And that's just what a loser would do with it. Imagine what a dude in power, a dude with trillions of dollars at his disposal, a politician, a world leader. Imagine what that ego is. They're all humans. It's all the same people up there. You know, these guys, they burn their hand on the stove too. You know. Adrian Torres, salutes to you on the check-in. Yo, shy Adrian from LA, Cali, checking in. Salutes to you, Papa. Glad you're here. Appreciate you being here. Nathan said, I respect your thinking, and it's true that these agents like Ed Calderon and Hector Berreyes probably have their own agenda to say what they say and are selective with the truth. Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes just misinformed and think they're more informed than they are, you know? Nathan said, I know it's a sensitive topic, but did you speak about Cato's death and the individuals that did it? But it's good confirmation to hear from the Flores twins that Cato was as real as they come. I've covered it on the channel. We're going to cover it again in this live. After this, I have a couple of things that I'm going to get to after I'm done talking about this jerk off that was talking crazy to me in the chat. But yeah, we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. Nathan Vicente said, you got great common sense skills. Where can we learn about your story at? I don't know. You can Google me. Keep listening to me. My story's simple. I came up in Chicago around the same ills that everybody else fucking came up through, and I survived them. You know what I'm saying? And in those years, I became an MC, and I traveled and I did my thing. And then I became an actor, and you know, and now I'm doing this. I do all of these things, you know what I'm saying? But that's basically the story. But yeah, you can Google me, you can check me out, go listen to my music, all that. You really want to know me? Listen to my music. Adrian Torres, salutes, hundreds up. Lucy in the Sky Diamond said it's sad even governments, especially governments who play. Let's see, what is it? Why is this thing in the way? No, it's as good as it gets. Who play many powerful people like that. They make rumors and get others unalived over lies. Absolutely. Absolutely, Nathan. How you know what Bereyes and Calderon ain't giving you as propaganda? You don't know. It's like a PR push. Listen, sometimes it'll be like a 2 or 3 period where you hear a lot about one specific rapper. It might be a newer rapper or somebody like, damn, this dude's everywhere, right? And then little by little, falls off the planet. You don't see him no more. That's because his public relations campaign ran out. The money in the public relations campaign is gone. He had a 3-month stretch of public relations people that were going to push him to all of the outlets and all the newspapers. That's why you see these things and then you don't see them no more. Because they're playing us. They're waving puppets in our face all day long. Talking heads in the news, all of that. It's all bullshit. All right. So here we go. Wait. What did he say? What did he say? I got to remember. Oh, hope to meet you one day. Right? He want to meet me one day. So I said likewise, but you know the truth is you have no reason to be mad at me. I offered you a place to speak. You turned it down and insulted me. And now you want me to fear you. And I laughed at his ass again. Right? Bet. Right? You insulted me. You turned me down. And now you want to laugh. And now you want me to fear you. Right? Now you want me to fear you. Good luck. All right, now here comes the moonwalking, y'all. Now we got a moonwalker. Now, when challenged about him wanting me to fear him, now that I've said out loud his tactic and what it is he's trying to do, right? But he just ran into the wrong motherfucker this morning. Now that I've seen his tactic and what he was trying to do and I said it out loud, now you want me to fear you, right? Now, all of a sudden, I'm about love. That's what he said. I'm about love, but cannot love something like you. Remember, now he's going to get real deep. A minute ago was, no te tropezas, and I want to meet you one day. And now it's all of a sudden, I'm about love, but cannot love something like you. Remember, it is of most ignorance to assume you know or to speak about others' thoughts and or feelings. Nobody feels intimidation through any digital platform. This for you, Lucy. One day life will make you leave this arrogant high school mentality. He just talked about himself. This jerk off just talked about himself. Maybe one day he'll leave. His life will make him leave that arrogant high school mentality because all I did was offer this dickhead a fucking platform. But now I'm about love. A minute ago was I hope to meet you one day. A minute ago was don't trip over yourself. Be a man, don't trip over yourself. A minute ago it was I'm gonna keep you in mind, right? Tough guy. Tony Tough Guy over here, right? Now it's I'm about love, but cannot love something like you. Remember, it is of most ignorance to who did I assume, know, or speak about any other thoughts or feelings? No, bitch. I didn't. You put all that together. You said all that shit. He in there arguing by himself at the crib. What are we talking about here? Nobody feels intimidation through any digital platform. No, and then there's some of us that ain't gonna feel intimidation if you standing on my fucking shoulders. One day life will make you leave this arrogant high school mentality. I left the high school mentality a long time ago. I left the high school mentality shit before high school. You know what I mean? So miss me with that shit. Just miss me with that bullshit. So now he's about love. A minute ago he was Tony Tough Guy until I told him, now you trying to make me afraid of you? And I laughed in his face, right? I called him on his bullshit. My response was, now you're going to lecture me? Stop. You are not self-aware. You talk tough to me and insult me. I didn't insult you. I offered you a platform to speak since you were complaining about, I misspelled this, but this should be a new word for it, snurches being celebrities. I offered you a platform to speak since you were complaining about snurches being celebrities. And then you say you're about love. Stop it. You're looking bad. After that, he deleted everything. Right? His whole shit came undone. He deleted everything. I knew I was going to talk about this. Why? Because I'm letting it be known now. I've let it be known before. Again, this ain't just a playground for the Flores twins. This ain't just a playground for any specific one person. It's for whoever I decide I want to talk to. And at the end of the day, I'm the motherfucker that decides who I talk to. Me. Right? So if you're out there and you feel like snitches and rats and criminals and losers and bums, I think there's lames. I think, okay, how about this? How about if I sat around and just complained all day about how lame fucks make trillions of dollars off streaming? Aiden Ross, lame fuck. Kai Cenat, lame fuck. They're all a bunch of lame fucks, right? And then somebody with a platform says, bro, I see you complaining about all these lame fucks. Shout out Jaime Aguilera. Salutes to you. Appreciate you on the sub. Right? Somebody says, hey, bro, I got a platform, man. You could come on, bro. And I'd be like, nah, but you cover those lame fucks, Aiden Ross, Kai Cenat. I don't want to be on that platform. Right? And then I start talking shit to him, the guy that just offered me the platform. That's what just happened here. No. If you a stand up 10 toes down, did 30 years, 20 years, 10 years, you did it standing up and you want to be heard and you feel like you got something to say and you got stories to tell, cool, let's talk. For most people that did stand 10 toes down, maybe talking and they ain't they thing and they don't want to be on YouTube. Don't get it twisted. And Pete was saying something the other day where Pete was like, man, I'm not a YouTuber. I get him. I understand where he's coming from. Because I'm not a YouTuber. These are conversations I have with my friends. These are not conversations that I have with the public. When I'm angry and fired up, those are conversations that I'll have with the motherfucker that I'm angry and fired up with. You know what I mean? So I get it. So sometimes those guys that stood 10 toes down, they probably don't want to talk anyway. But I'm not going to turn you down. If you got a story to tell, this guy pretended he had a story to tell, cried about being ostracized and having nobody to let him tell that story. And then he shit on me over it. Guess what? Fuck you very much, buddy. I'm not, you don't scare me. Fuck are we talking about here? So again, if there's anybody out there that the Flores twins rolled up and ruined their life or betrayed them and they feel like speaking, they know where I'm at. You think everybody ain't hearing about, everybody connected to this is hearing about this. So that's basically it. That was the conversation that I wanted to have about this guy. And I appreciate y'all for riding along with me. Salutes to the 27 concurrent viewers in the chat. Hit that like button. We only got 16 likes, and I'd appreciate you run it up. All right? Hundreds up in the chat for the rest of y'all. I'm going to get back to y'all right now. Boom, 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 boom. We hanging out. All right? I think I need a voodoo ranger after that rant. And I appreciate y'all for letting me go through it. All right? Miss me with the tough shit. Miss me with the tough shit. All right? Say it when you see me. And then we'll see how that works out. That's it. For that. And then he go back to love and then delete everything. Stop it. What the fuck are we talking about here? Let's go back. Thumbs up from 030 North. Albert Flores says, you have anything in the works on Alfredo Beltran Leiva? When the beef started in Mexico, I know it all poured over to Chicago. That's around the time a lot of people got busted. Right. Yeah, no, when there's time, I go through anybody I can get through. I am due a Arturo Beltran Leiva video that'll be in the Cartel Chronicles playlist. Again, since y'all are here, let me show you these playlist links because there's other stuff on this channel that a lot of y'all haven't seen. And I'd appreciate it if y'all go on this channel and go take a look at something and watch something that you haven't seen on this channel before. We got all kind of stuff in the Cartel Chronicles playlist. You know, we got stuff in there on El Güero. We got stuff on there on Miguel Ángel Felix Gallardo. There's stuff in there about the El Pirata de Culiacán. So there's a bunch of stuff in there that you can check out. But, you know, eventually we'll get to the labels and we'll get to that story in general. But again, I'm smashed. Like I'm everyday videos and I got guests lined up and shit. Like we're moving. But when I can get to the BLO story, I'll get to the whole story and put that together in one playlist itself. We'll do. Shout out Ian in the chat, hundreds up. Lucy giving Albert Flores props. Salute to you, Lucy. Victor Rodriguez on the check-in. Victor Rodriguez said I'm regulating, bro. Like, come on, man. What are these people talking to? Mento G, salute to you. Appreciate you. Appreciate you joining, subscribing. Again, we got mad playlists for you to check out. All right, I'm about to drop these Surviving El Chapo playlist in the chat. Surviving El Chapo playlist is in the chat. Oh shit, I got a bunch of. Hold on, I got catching up to do. Hold on. Here we go. Adrian Torres said, "Damn, I missed the whole thing on the person who offered you the platform. Sounds like that person crossed the line with you. I offered him a platform, and he acted like a little cuck. I offered him the platform. Like, bro, you crying, but you acting like you want somebody to hear you crying, but you don't really want nobody to hear you crying." Victor Rodriguez said, let him know, Shy for sure. Facts. Hundreds. Nathan Wallace said, did you speak to the Flores twins about Big Meech or La Barbie? So I'm going to let y'all know now. My mission is to do a whole video about BMF, comparing BMF and the Flores twins and getting the Flores twins to talk about it. That's a mission that I'm on. Wish me well. So good looking on that comment, Nathan. We'll be getting to that. We'll talk with them about La Barbie next time. I know the Flores twins make Big Meech look like a mouse in terms of the money they had and the drugs they sold. You say that, but there's so many people in the country that don't believe that, so that's why we're gonna do this video. Mento G said, I got you on Kick. So the Kick stream is doing something for me, all right? Because I be having one viewer over there, but I stream over there anyway. I'm trying to get Twitch popping. Again, it'd be hard for me to get the technicals done when there's so many videos, so much editing, so much demand, and we be getting big shit like the Flores twins and Val, and you know what I'm saying? We got some big shit lined up, so we doing it. Juan G says, salute boss, I'm just checking on to your work. Major props, bro. Don't know if you remember me, Sleepy in the wheelchair. Of course I remember you, Sleepy. Salutes to you, bro. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for being here. All right? Thank you for being here. Of course I remember you. 030 North, Shy, me and the boys are watching while having dinner in the restaurant. I got my boys all into your channel. I appreciate you, 030 North. I appreciate your homies. All right? Y'all get liquored up. Don't get into no trouble. Don't get arrested in Santo Domingo. And, you know, stay checking in when y'all get back to the States. I'll be right here talking my shit. All right? Whoever bet against him, the $100 that we wouldn't get 100 people in the chat that night, pay the man up, man. All right? There's a round on you right now. Salutes. Vicente said I binge watched it already. Everything Vicente is like fucking 300 videos. Here, I was going to drop another one in here. I'm going to copy the Cartel Wise playlist. Alberto Flores says, you're a walking book, homie. Appreciate you. I appreciate it, Albert. Thank you. Lucy in the Sky with Diamond said, are you fluent in Spanish? Have you considered doing these reactions in Spanish? I would love to hear the twins in Spanish. El chisme Spanglish is on another level. Spanglish is Chicago's the king of the Spanglish shit. You know what I'm saying? Look, let me tell you a little story, Lucy. So I was working on like my Spanish is good amongst the family and when we're talking and shit, you know what I'm saying? And you know, and there's no pressure. They'll correct me or whatever. But I did a movie, the first movie that I ever made. It's called Lupe. It's about a missing girl in the neighborhood. And I had to go to Univision to do an interview, all right? And I was a nervous wreck, and I had no confidence in my Spanish, right? And then I even told the old girl that I went with, I said, man, I got one line that I got down to open up with, and then I should be good after that, right? And she heard the line. When we went live, old girl used my line, man. She stole my line, all right? She stole my line. I was flustered after that, and I had what I like to call a Hispanic attack, all right? Wasn't a panic attack. It was a Hispanic attack, and my English was shot to shit. And guess what? I'm going to clip it, and I'm going to put it on this channel so y'all can see it. Because y'all fuck with me like that. But I had a Hispanic attack. So my Spanish is fluent when I'm confident and comfortable, or when I learned it off my script and I ain't worried about it no more because it's locked in. So, and I haven't taken thought of doing these videos in Spanish. I haven't. I think that it would be very distracting for me personally. Shout out Jordan Bracamontes. Hundreds up. Salutes to you. Let's see. I'm catching up in the chat now. Domenico Colandria. That would be dope. This is so far back, I don't even know what we're talking about here. But I appreciate you for being here. Domenico, I appreciate you for being here. Thank you very much. Adrian Torres said, check them fools, Shy. Man, and I try not to. I'm not here for drama and shit, but it's like, Papa, you going to threaten me and then tell me you all about love? Shut your on the run ass up and just run. Did you talk to the twins after? Were they happy with the outcome? That was dope. You spoke, meeting them into existence. Yeah, I spoke to them after. Make sure, everything was good for them. Make sure that there was nothing that they were uncomfortable with, because I'm not here to make anybody uncomfortable. Like I told y'all before, man. I'm going to talk to whoever I'm going to talk to. I'm going to talk to them, and we're going to be respectful. I don't agree with Jerry Finnegan, for those that know who he is. He's a dirty cop, you know what I'm saying? That also has something to do with the story. But I'm not going to sit here and blatantly disrespect him unless he disrespects me. You know what I'm saying? So, so I made sure, checked in with them. We spoke. Everything's good. They were happy. They loved y'all. You know what I'm saying? They loved y'all. That's why y'all got y'all shout outs and shit. And, they think the interactiveness is dope, and it's not out of hand over here. And I'm not going to let it get out of hand over here. You know what I mean? Nathan Wallace said, it seems like Amado Carrillo Fuentes was the biggest Mexican narco of them all. Who knows, man? That's a conversation that the biggest traficantes amongst themselves have to have. You know what I'm saying? I think that once you get to a certain level, it's just like MCs. Once you get to a certain level, is it Tupac? Is it Biggie? It's up to you to decide. 030 North said, I have a question that I really want to know about the twins. If they know why did Chapo really kill Rodolfo Carrillo? All right, I'm gonna make sure that I note this, 030, and put it on the. It's on the list. The list still exists. For those that don't know, I have an ongoing list that of questions that I have for the Flores twins for their subsequent visits to the show, because I believe they will be back. Domenico said, I wonder if the Flores twins had any interactions with El Chino Anthrax. Yes, I believe they did. And they only mentioned him once, but he's on the list of questions for the next time they come through. Or El Cheo Felix, being that he was around the Zambadas in the early 2000s. So I'll make sure that I make note of these names, and I'll ask them about them next time. 039 said, my boy got robbed for $500 from a girl last night. Yeah! Cut your ass out of pocket, literally. Gotta watch them. Watch them! Gotta watch them. Alright? You gotta keep one eye open on these little susies sometimes. Well, not sometimes, especially on vacation in Santo Domingo with $500 in your pocket. You got hit up. I hope it wasn't the guy that owes you the $100. There's no excuse, bro. All right, we on some El Guapo shit over here. It doesn't matter that you got your shit took. You still owe $100. All right, you're not coming out that basement till you pay up. We got laughter for Vicente and Lucy. Vicente says Hispanic attack. I've been there before. Yeah, facts. Nathan Wallace said Mexican drug dealers seems like they are more colorful with a bigger personality than the Colombians, or maybe it's because Colombians has been displaced by Mexican drug lords. It could be a cultural thing too. I have a lot of Colombian friends. They want me to cover all la violencia in Colombia in those days, and eventually we'll get to it. Let's keep this channel moving, keep this channel growing, so that it can make it worth my while to sit around and get into all these stories. Ian said Hispanic attack. Facts. 030 North said we came to our Airbnb with 3 girls. She went through his pockets and got him for $500 when he went to sleep. Absolutely. Let's say you got to keep one eye open, bruh. One eye open. And ain't no go to sleep. What? It's, sorry, you got to go. Go to sleep. What? She could have got you for everything. Unalived you, bruh. Nathan Wallace said, I'm sure you know that Puerto Rican drug pen who's now incarcerated. He was the biggest Puerto Rican drug lord. Which one? Was he from Puerto Rico? Was he a New Yorican or from here? I probably don't know. I don't really follow. Like, listen, and that's another thing. I'm also not, like, I have friends that want to sit around and tell war stories from 20 years ago. I'm not a guy that reminisces much because I'm always moving forward. I'm always on the move. And sometimes my friends, I got to tell them, Papa, enough with the remember when shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, tomorrow, bro. Today and tomorrow, dog. That's it. So yeah, so again, I'm always moving forward. I'm always working. I'm always learning something. And again, we've been learning this side of the game together. Now, I have a brief knowledge about a lot of different things, and but then you get into something where you dive deep into it, and I feel like the Flores twin story, ain't nobody out there fucking with me on this one. Ian said you did a great on the interview. When I think about interviewing someone I know I would fuck up, I don't think interviewing someone is as easy as everyone thinks. It's not as easy as everybody thinks, but I think you do great, Ian. So don't sell yourself short. And guess what? I suck at everything when I start doing it, right? The difference between me and the people that don't do it is that I'm willing to suck at something to figure it out. You know what I mean? The computer that we're on right now, I built it to do this, specifically this. First time in my life after being a grown man that learned other things. Why? Because I dove into it. So, don't sell yourself short. Everybody's going to suck at something the first time they do it. That's just a fact. I walk in confidently knowing that I'm going to fuck it up, but I'm going to figure it out. And that's just it. Hold on one sec, y'all, because we be on here. What are they chatting? Okay, that's from somebody else. I'm just making sure I'm not missing something here. Boom. So yeah, Ian, don't sell yourself short. Lucy in the Sky Diamond says Spanish audience is huge, and honestly, I haven't come across a channel that speaks like this. It's always so polite and use the correct big Spanish words that leave me out confused. No. I'm Spanglish for real. I'm Spanglish. ¿Qué lo que está pasando aquí? What happened? You know what I'm saying? I'm that guy. And I appreciate y'all. And again, I want to get into the. I am considering. I need to figure out what the Mr. Beast service is, because they can do the Spanish vocals or something like that. Like, I would put this out like that because I think I'd get way more followers, way more views with a worldwide audience that way. Absolutely. But I'm just, they consider me the ghetto of this cartel talk. Nathan Wallace said, I understand what you mean, that greatness in anything is relative, especially once you reach a level that's less than 3 or 4 people will reach. Absolutely. And it becomes like, who is the GOAT, LeBron or Jordan? Well, we know the answer to that, Nathan. Stop. That's where we differ. We already know the answer to that. That's a horrible example, all right? Because we know who the GOAT is. We're not having this conversation. Salutes. But even Pete said it. You got to get to the top to understand. You have to be on the top of the mountain to see from that perspective. You have to. Vicente said, those hussies will rob you in Tijuana too. Yeah, no, they'll get you Tijuana, Santo Domingo, Cancun. They're everywhere. Puerto Rico, your wallet ain't safe nowhere. One eye open, bro. Chucky Chico said, keep your water in front pocket. Oh, dirty for sure. Absolutely. Nathan Wallace said, this is something for you to consider. What about the female kingpins? Do you really think Griselda Blancos was the biggest female narco, just hyped by the media? Listen, there was a time where the media wasn't much of, because her claim, how can I put this? Her rise to prominence in the American audience's ear comes from a documentary called Cocaine Cowboys that came out many years ago. They've remade it a couple of different ways over the years, but there's nothing like the original. And if you let the original tell it, she was ruthless. And Rivi, her bodyguard, he speaks on that documentary. He was ruthless. If there's someone else, I haven't heard their name. Adrian Torres says, Shy, saw that another YouTube channel interviewed Jay Flores about a week ago. He goes back in. We're covering that in this live. And I hit up Jay, and I said, bro, you let Buddy hit me by 8 days. He's like, nah. Buddy wasn't supposed to upload it, so that's why it says 8 days. He did, and then he made him take it down. And then after our interview, Buddy uploaded it again, but that's why it still said 8 days. I guess it was uploaded 8 days. It doesn't even fucking matter anyway. But yes, we're going to cover that right here, today, right now, if I ever get clear, get through the chat. Bonelado said Meech brought his own drugs. Twins was consignment. That's not all the way true. Wrong, and thank you for being here. That's not all the way true. But we'll talk about it in that episode. That's not all the way true. Because the twins used to deal in straight cash up front. It wasn't until they was up there and Meech had a middleman. Twins didn't have no middleman. So that's not all the way true. Chucky Chigon said, Puerto Rican Kingpin Boy George. That's what I thought he was talking about. That's why I asked if he was in Puerto Rico or in New York. It's a good story. He was a heroin kingpin. Ian Espy said, 100. Bones said the Herreras in the late 80s, early 90s had Shy on a great heroin level. The Herreras. Nathan said, not Boy George, who was just a local kingpin and not someone of international or national stature. But was a New York kingpin and not a national star. Yeah, we heard that part. Ian said MJ. See, Ian, we already know the answer to this shit. It's a universal truth. All right, y'all. I made it through the chat. I appreciate y'all for being here. All right, we're gonna get into the next piece of information. And maybe we start with that interview that y'all talking about. Sandra Avila Beltran out of Hermosillo, Queen of the Pacific. Yeah, I'll look into her. I did see that you mentioned her before. I'll look into her. That's the only other name that I've heard. But then again, it's so many Spanish names, man. And it's never 2 of them. No, it's 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? I said fuck enough time in this stream to get 0 monetization, but it's okay. Buddy's interview was simple. Yours killed it. Bet we're gonna get some information. Well, yeah, let's start with that one real quick. We're gonna start with that one real quick because I have another one that is fresh off the presses from today. But let's do this. All right, let's do this. The channel is. Hold on, we can hear from music. You remember the other day when we finished Cartel Wives and they put up the credits and they put music and jokingly I said, watch me get smacked for the music? I got smacked for the music. They want ad revenue sharing for their little piece. Like, I cut that shit out. Get lost. Nathan said, how come you have never covered the Arellano Felix brothers? Arellano Felix brothers. These how comes have, like, there was a guy last night that I put out the video of the twins talking about Mayo, Menchon Chapo, and dude was like, ha! There's more people they didn't even talk about. And I was like, I sent him the other video where Pete talks about Damaso, Amado, Chapitos, Who else? Arturo Beltran. He talked about everybody, and dude was like, "Yeah, but there's still more people." I'm like, "Bruh, how much time you think we had? You know what I'm saying? Maybe next time. Like, what you mad about? You looking for something to be mad about?" So when you say, "How come you never?" It's just a time thing. I've been doing this channel for a year, and man, dog, it's like 300-400 videos out there. You know what I mean? So it takes time. I will get to everybody eventually if the channel continues to grow. So that's basically the how comes are only because. And please do not how come me, Nathan, unless you've gone and watched everything that we got on the channel. All right? Because some people will do that. They will come and complain about what I don't have, but haven't checked out what I do have. And that's just foul and disrespectful and unfair to me. You know what I mean? So make sure, Nathan, you go check out all the other stuff we got here. And again, I appreciate you in the chat. Salutes to y'all. 27 concurrent viewers, 20 likes. Let's get them likes up. Appreciate you. And let's get into this piece of content right here. This is the gangsters. Hold on a second. This is the Gangsters, Cops, and Politicians podcast or channel. Taking Down El Chapo, my interview with Margarito J. Flores. I'll read the description. We gave him a like already. Gave him a subscribe already. Host Gabe Morales interviews Jay of the famous Flores twins out of Chicago, who worked directly for Joaquin Chapo Guzman and other major drug cartel leaders. He talks about his upbringing in Chicago's little village barrio, where his brother was a leader in the Latin Kings. He discusses how he was introduced to the world of drug trafficking by his father and older brother. Jay explains how he became deeper and deeper involved, and how he and his twin brother ultimately testified against Chapo in a major case. All right, let's check this out. I'm looking forward to it. Salutes to y'all hundreds in the chat. Beep, 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 beep. We've been here. I feel like we didn't cover nothing. We've been here an hour and a half, but we've been getting after it, and I appreciate you guys, man. You guys make this worthwhile. Let's get it. Oh, no music. We don't do music over here.
And it's your host, Gabe.
Right.
Once again, it's your host, Gabe Morales, with
Salutes,
Gangsters,
Gabe.
Cops, and Politicians. Some of you may remember I did a series on drug cartels in Mexico. One of those was the Sinaloa cartel.
Ismael El Mayo Zambada Garcia was another close associate of Chapo. Mayo was born and grew up in Culiacan, Sinaloa, Mexico, well known for being part of Mexico's Golden Triangle, which supplies drugs from the Sierra Madres region in Sinaloa and up to Chihuahua's northern region, as well as Durango.
Today we have a very special guest who worked with a drug trafficking organization down in Mexico. I will ask him some questions and leave it up to him to answer those as he sees fit. This individual has to watch out for his security, which is understandable. At the same time, he wants to educate the public and law enforcement about these drug trafficking organizations in particular.
You see, he's not trying to blow them up and dox anybody either. He said if he want to answer the questions, he can answer the questions. And that's the same way I feel about the twins and anybody else. I'm not here to pressure nobody into answering no questions. I won't be pressured into answering no questions. Shout out Felix Reyes in the chat on the check-in. Hunters up. Yo, salutes to you. Appreciate you being here, sir.
Particular here in the United States. Jay, how are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me, Gabriel. I appreciate the invite and for you having me here.
All right. So you are one of the famous Flores twins. Can you tell people where you're born and where you were raised?
Well, my name is Margarito Flores Jr. Also, I'm one half of the Flores twins. I have a twin brother named Pedro Flores. I was born in Chicago, Illinois.
I've been to Chicago many times. What part of Chicago did you grow up in?
I grew up on the southwest side in a part of Chicago known as Little Village. To many, it's called the Little Mexico or the Mexico of the Midwest. Probably got the biggest Mexican population probably after Los Angeles, for sure.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize how big the Hispanic population is there in Chicago. Mexicanos, Puerto Ricanos, all kinds of Latinos there. Yes, most definitely. It is a city of different neighborhoods, distinct neighborhoods, a lot of flavor, a lot of color, a lot of...
Distinct neighborhoods, very separated. You know what I'm saying? Well, more so before probably. But pretty much blacks and Latinos got our own neighborhoods, and everybody else is separate. But definitely Chicago, definitely a melting pot of a lot of different people.
Diversity, and it's a great place.
Yeah,
People
diverse, absolutely.
tell me all the time, "Hey, be careful when you go to Chicago." I'm like, I've never had any problems there. It's great, great restaurants, great places to see, great music, great people.
Yes, absolutely. I
Be
think
careful when you go to Chicago. It's just like anywhere else. You can get got anywhere. If you think that you can go somewhere and it's safe, find me a safe place. Does it exist? Probably not.
when neighborhood I grew up in was primarily Mexican. It was a Mexican neighborhood, right? Mexican immigrant, Mexican American people who lived there. So to me, I always saw two sides of it, but for sure, I always was in love with the cultures, right? The mix of cultures there, especially when it comes to Hispanics and especially the food. I've traveled, across the United States. I always thought that Chicago had this unique blend, a mixture of, different nationalities. And
Listen, man, I know we got a lot of people from a lot of places, but if you haven't been here, I ain't trying to hear it. I've been to a lot of places, and we got the best food in the world. And as far as Mexican food goes, stop it. Stop it. LA, I love y'all. But I went to San Diego, had some Mexican food. I wasn't digging it, bro. Chicago, you fuck around, walk outside, trip over a Mexican restaurant every 5 feet. That's killing, all right? Shout out Nathan Wallace. Said it's interesting that most of these drug kingpins and mafia killers are under 6 feet and don't fit the stereotypical tough guys that you see in the movies, but then those are the movies and not reality. It's a construct. They fed you that. All of this, every time I hear conversations and people make a point to say, man, yeah, he's just 5'5". It's like, what the hell does that matter? I know little giants that ain't gonna let you step. I'm 6'2". They ain't gonna let me step. I have friends that are 6'9". They ain't gonna let them step to them a certain way. Little giants. So that's all constructed. That's all part of the puppet show. They told us, you can only be, you can only master one trade, and you can't be tough if you 5'5", or you can't do nothing, important unless you 6 feet. Like, I don't get it. 030 North said there's a lot of big drug dealers in Culiacan that people don't even know about, and you should look up Polo Ochoa. He loaned Chapo money, unalived him so he wouldn't have to pay him back. It'd be like that. That's crazy. PR Black, salutes on the check-in. Shael, salute King, hundreds up. Salute to you, PR Black. Appreciate you being here. Ian said, I've heard the Shy had the best restaurants around. Bro, ain't nobody playing with us when it comes to food, bro. And I'm talking about, people could be like, oh, downtown. I'm talking about in the neighborhoods. You go in the neighborhoods, bro, you're going to find something amazing. I promise you. Hit the like button, y'all. Let's get them up.
and foods that just made it a little bit different.
You have a twin brother by the name of Peter. How close?
It's a unique blend, a mixture of, different nationalities and foods that just made it a little bit different.
You have a twin brother by the name of Peter. How close were you two growing up?
Wow, that's kind of hard to describe how close we were. I think we were inseparable. We were together, in the womb. It's a little bit different. I have other siblings. I have 3 older sisters, 3 older, 2 older brothers other than my twin brother, but we were inseparable. We finished each other's sentences. I think we always say that we think alike or probably have the same thoughts. We have a problem with mumbling because of that. We didn't have to actually say each word or each sentence because we understood what each of them was saying without having to.
Boom. There you go. That might be for you, Nathan. Was it you that I had the argument with the other day about them being unintelligible? It's just how you say things. It's not what you're saying. It's how you say things. Impoverished. I understand them. So if I understand them, that would make me impoverished. You know what I'm saying? And that's just not how we move around here. But first time, I've had many comments about how the twins are mealy mouthed. Shout out Big Joe V33. Appreciate you for the subscription. Thank you very much. Hit that like button, y'all. We got 30 concurrent viewers, 21 likes. Appreciate you, Big Joe V. Got a new respect for the twins. These guys were in deep. Salutes to you. They definitely were in deep. AJDO, hey Pete, who do you think will fall next? Mayo, Ivan, or the Cabrera brothers? Let me I'm gonna take note of this for the next time that they're here. It'll be on the list. But yeah, they were definitely in deep. So anyways, I've always gotten complaints and comments. Oh, those twins mumble. They could barely speak and blah, blah, blah. First time I've ever heard of an explanation for their talking. Now, to me, I feel like they only mumble when, it's a low conversation. Like, if you listen to them in an interview with me, boy, when Pete gets hot, he's ready to jap out on the fucking... He sounds clear as day. You know what I mean? So, again, I guess it's a mood thing, but he just said I never heard an explanation for it. And he said they finished each other's sentences to the point that they didn't have to finish their sentences, so they would kind of let words drag off. And that explains the mumbling.
Womb. It's a little bit different. I have other siblings. I had 3 older sisters, 3 older, 2 older brothers other than my twin brother, but we were inseparable. We finished each other's sentences. I think we always say that we think alike or probably have the same thoughts. We have a problem with mumbling because of that. We didn't have to actually say each word or each sentence because we understood what each of them was saying without having to actually finish a sentence or even a thought at times. So yeah, very close, and we continue to be close to this day.
So when you guys were growing up, I know there's a lot of gangs in Chicago. For people who don't understand the makeup of Chicago neighborhoods, were there gangs in the little village? And did you join a gang there?
Well, I think to begin with, right, Chicago's always been known as a gangster city since back in the Al Capone days. So me growing up in Little Village, it was very gang infested. What's the South Side is basically it's just infested with gangs. Surrounding, like there's 2, it's set off by 2 big gang organizations and smaller gangs within. But yes, I grew up in a neighborhood that was ran by the Lion Kings. My older brothers were Lion Kings, so growing up in those environments, it's all we actually saw, basically.
Gotcha. It sounds like they were kind of all around you, so you just kind of were absorbed by that group because of your brothers had been affiliated with them.
Yeah, what was unique about my upbringing was that my brother and I were the youngest of the family. I had 2 older brothers. One of them, my oldest, which is Armando, he's 15 years older than me. So I was already a teenager when I was born. And then my brother, who actually passed away from a heroin overdose when I was younger, he would have been 13 years older than me. And they were...
Look at that. All right. That's something that we heard of and that we spoke about during the Cartel Wives, because I remember somebody saying, oh, their older brother Adrian, he testified against the wives, blah, and it's like, no, that's Armando. They used Adrian's name in the book for Armando, right? But Adrian was their brother that died of a heroin overdose when they were 14. That's part of the story that is very seldom you hear about it. I ain't hear about it. I don't remember it in Surviving El Chapo. I don't remember it even in Cartel Wives. You know what I'm saying? I remember things being alluded to. You know what I mean? But I knew that, and just so people can see one of the ironies, they too suffered the brunt, not just over the business, but they suffered the brunt of drug addiction and drugs in their own family. So as close as their big brother. You know what I mean, it's an important piece right there that we rarely get to see. Let's see. AJ said, "Thank you, MFs. Thank you, MFs. Love to hate. I give the real for any man to get it out the mud. I give respect to any man that get it out the mud for their family. Absolutely." Ian said, "That's funny. I have 4 brothers, and we're all 1 year apart, and we all mumble because we understand each other when we're all hanging out at a party. Sometimes people don't know what we're talking about." Absolutely. Shout out to Ariza in the building. What up, players? Salutes to you. Thank you for being here. Nathan said, from what the Flores twins are saying, it seems like Sammy the Bull thought the mafia was better and more prestigious criminals than the Mexican cartels and was therefore superior to Mexicans. Sammy, it's not just that he believed the mafia was better. Sammy is just a supremacist in every sense of the word. Even if he knows you're better, he's gonna hate you for it and he's gonna angle on you for it. Yeah, so Sammy just thinks everything is more prestigious. Whatever he says is prestigious is what's prestigious. AJ said, for anyone who knows, the real bosses are Musico and G5. Okay? Yeah, we got Peter Flores talking about Musico in one of our latest videos. Make sure you check it out. Chucky Chigone said their brother was first Corona of the hood. They had juice through him. I mean, he had juice. They were, the shorties. Again, we're going to get into it in another video we're going to cover today. But, people beat the timeline. They said it in our interview. They said, I asked him, was there any good times? He goes, man, bro, you just think about the come up. And he said, we were teenagers coming through the bullshit of all the older guys ahead of us, which were their brothers, which was K, which was all those guys. You know what I'm saying? So they were part of the team, but, they were the little brothers. They had to work their way up or work their way through and pass. So, yeah, I'm sure nobody, I'm sure they had, like you said, they had juice through him, but I don't think it was like something that they were able to throw around, if that makes sense. Or even wanted to. Buck Outdoors, salutes to you. Would you interview Sammy's con ass? I think you would come from sorry, I couldn't see it here. This is from a cool perspective. Yeah, I would. He'd flip out right away, though. He'd flip out right away. But yeah, I'd interview Sammy. I'd love to have Sammy and Peter, you know what I'm saying, in the voice chat. You know what I mean? And let me moderate these two tellings of these stories. You know what I'm saying? And let me get in there. So I think that would be dope. Nathan said the Flores twins seems more like drug executives than street hustlers or game bangers. I wonder how they interact with game bangers, or did they have their middleman to interact? They interacted with everybody. They had no choice. You know what I'm saying? Again, and they felt the same way about, like how can I explain it? Like, you guys answer to each other. Like, I'm over here working for me. You know what I mean? Like, I think they had that kind of attitude. Like, I don't think gang banging interested them. And by the time their father came home, their father made it clear to them that they would not be gang bangers. He'd much rather they be businessmen. And that's how it went down. What's crazy is how Mayo works for the CIA. If I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. Could get every boss, but Mexico is. If America wanted to get every boss, it could, but Mexico is so corrupt, especially Durango, Michoacán, and Guerrero. I mean, there's a possibility every criminal works for the CIA at those levels. You know what I mean? And it's just part of the chess game that moves the pieces around, and it's the whole Iran-Contra affair and the whole Sandinistas versus the Contras all over again. Buck Outdoors said was just gonna say a convo between them would be ill. Yeah, that I would like to see. That I would like to see. But again, the twins were affected by drugs on the entire other end of it.
We're both Lion Kings, so by the time I was actually, and then my brother, who actually passed away from a heroin overdose when I was younger, he would have been 13 years older than me. And they were both Lion Kings, so by the time I was actually, in my younger adolescent years, they already had became, prominent members of the gang, turning into being a shot callers. So by the time I was, my early teens, my older brother was considered the kingpin of the neighborhood and a high-ranking member of the Lion Kings. And because of that, I feel like I wasn't observed by the gang, because he made sure that the one thing that wasn't going to happen was that me and my brother were going to join the gang.
There it is.
Which was kind of weird, because I was...
His father didn't want no part of that. Well, didn't want them to have no part of it. You know what I'm saying? He couldn't stop it with his older sons because he was locked up. But he didn't want the twins to have anything to do with the gang banging. The father was totally against that whole part of it. He was open to everything else, but he was against that.
In that environment, but it worked. He made sure to let everyone know to basically leave us alone, and we were sheltered by any issues with gangs because of who he was, and he controlled the drug.
There you go. Said they had juice, throw it around, or you know what I'm saying? Like, they had juice through their brother, and what did they use it for? To keep them out of it. Stay out of it. Get out of it. You know what I'm saying? Get out of it. Ian said the way the twins talked about Sammy is exactly how I feel about him. That guy's all about himself. I don't think anybody could trust Sammy. Yeah, I don't think so either. AJ said exactly while the Rothschilds and Soros family hide in the shadows, but people are waking up in America. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if we're a day late and a dollar short, but us as a human being, as a creation, we the most, one of the things we were blessed with in life is color, right? The prism of color. And what is one of our biggest hangups in life is color. And to me, that just makes us no different than the amoeba that climbed out the sludge, if that makes sense. Michael R. Wright said, is it true Mexicans feel it's okay to tell on any other culture, only not on other Mexicans? Absolutely not, Michael R. Wright. We have conversations here all the time about how the entire, every Mexican cartel has turned in somebody. It's a tactic. It's what they use. The police and cooperation, it's a tactic. It's something they use. So, no, I do not believe in that. Now, how the gangs do it, I don't know how the gangs, the gangs in America do it. But I'm talking about in the cartel, it is a thing. It's a thing. It's in the tuck. Right next to the 1911, right next to the, the Stanley cup of coffee is in the tuck is the, we'll turn you in. Everybody in. Everybody go to jail. All right. 31 concurrent viewers, 23 likes. Let's shoot them likes up. I appreciate y'all for being here. So, yeah, I don't believe that to be true, Michael. All right. Nathan said gangbangers are foot soldiers and don't make the money that the businessmen of drugs make. Sometimes. Sometimes they're more than just foot soldiers. They're foot soldiers that are standing out there pushing that product themselves. Nathan Wallace said, but behind every good fortune, there is crime. John F. Kennedy's father was a bootlegger. When alcohol was absolutely. The Kennedys were built on crime, And then what happened? They got in office, and they flipped the script, and went hard against crime, and look what it got them.
In Little Village, so add all that up, so we were basically, sheltered from that gang life. But we grew up around it. Him being who he was, we seen how he was treated. Everyone respected him in the neighborhood, so we were kind of had this like gray area, of growing up.
What I hear you saying, Jay, is that you were associated with them, but you were not a hardcore, heavily involved member, more on the outskirts of gang activity there in the Little Village.
Absolutely. I think having similar upbringings, everyone around you is basically either you're in a gang or you're not. And there's more people in the gang. Probably more of my, friends growing up were in gangs. So I wasn't, an active member. I never, cared to be even at a younger age. But yes, everyone around you, you're basically affiliated just by, right, who you know and who you grew up with. So.
Were there quite a bit of drugs dealt in around your area at the time? Do you notice that growing up?
But I just want to make it clear, as we move along, there hasn't been one phase of issue or subject matter in drug trafficking that me or my family hasn't been affected by it. All right. So as I get into the story, that we're going to see that I've been affected by every type of tragedy that comes with the world of drugs. There was a lot of drugs in my neighborhood because my family are the ones that provided those drugs. So I want to make that clear. My family from, before I was born, when it came down to my father was a big heroin supplier for Chicago before I was born. And he was arrested before I was born, and he was sent to a 10-year prison term. He came out when I was around 8 years old. By then, my older brothers, even though they were young, they had picked up the trade on their own. And in the neighborhood consisted of, because of gang politics, the only drugs that were allowed to be sold there were powder cocaine and marijuana. There was no hard drugs. You couldn't sell crack, heroin, or PCP, which were the main drugs at the time. So in a way, it was the gangs policing the neighborhood. I mean, you could sell those drugs outside the neighborhood, but you couldn't sell them inside the neighborhood. Anyone who would break those rules were treated just as if they were an opposite gang member. Those laws were strictly enforced.
Got you. Well, I know the Latin Kings have prided themselves for years for being protectors of the neighborhood, and it sounded like the example you just gave. At times that is true, but they are not always the shining knights that they say they are either. I guess you could say, in contrary to public opinion, there are good things that gangs do.
I mean, those days are over too. The days of, a gang taking a unified front against something and not allowing it because, back then they were, those factions were governed by, one superior big thing, and then now it's every man for itself, every corner for itself, every block for itself. So that type of unity that don't take place anymore. Those days are over. What do we got in the chat? AJ said Garcia Luna and Calderon made billions, but Luna is paying for it and Calderon's hiding in Spain. Yeah, I haven't gotten into all that yet. Michael R. Wright said, one more thing. Why do Mexicans deal with blacks in business, but they war with them? But in prison, they war with them. In prison, prison is different. Prison ain't cliques. Prison is you stick with your race. And when you have everyone separated like that, I mean, who they're going to go at it with, It's somebody's turn every time eventually, That's my answer. I ain't no authority on nothing, but, you stay with your race in prison. That's how the structure is, evidently. Salute to y'all for being here. I appreciate y'all. Thank you very much. We kicking it. We hanging out. Let's get it.
And there's good people in gangs, and there's bad people in gangs, just like any group. So I think you probably agree with that.
Yeah, I think it's full of contradictions. As I say it to you, I think that it could be because of where I was born and raised. It could be because of gang culture. Like following the rules, I seen what happened when people didn't follow the rules. And I think taking that into consideration, that as I moved on into another organization that's probably more violent, they have rules still. And it's contradictions, rules that they feel that it's going to be good for their organization or their neighborhood or whatever,
And there he is. They had rules. Them rules. Everybody's breaking the game is break the rules now. But again, he said then he got into an organization that was probably even more violent, right? In Mexico. And they had rules too. That was for the purpose of their organization.
Of course, they're the ones that could break the rules, right?
Right.
But growing up,
There it is.
Plaza going to be good for their organization or their neighborhood or whatever, Plaza. Of course, they're the ones that could break the rules, right? But growing up, it was like you could sell other kind of drugs. You had to sell them to different gangs or different races. You just couldn't sell that. What they didn't want was that brothers and sisters to be able to go pick up one of those drugs that they were not going to be able to, do anything about it. So it's just gang politics that in a way doesn't make sense because they'll let you join a gang and go, risk your life. But yet they have rules as that, But again, I wasn't in the gang and I never sold in a street corner. So I didn't really have to worry about that.
So how did you get involved with the cartel that you worked for there in Mexico? You mentioned that your family had been involved previously. Was it a continued connection from your family? Was there a certain incident that occurred that you became the major drug trafficker in the Chicago area?
Well, my drug trafficking career started at 7 years old when Dad came home from prison. My brother and I became his workers, his helpers. I ran my first load across the border at 7.5. I loaded my first car full of drugs and gas tanks at that age. I learned how to...
Bruh, ran his first loads across the border at 7.5, bro. What? You liken it to the Granby twins or, Tank Davis or any of these kids that you see when they're 5 years old and they're learning how to box and they become world champions later. It's the same deal. They were bred into the game. Michael Wright says, Shy, I love your show, learning a lot. I appreciate you for being here. Thank you, sir. You know what I'm saying? Again, I don't have all the answers, but, we work off common sense around here. PR Black said, wow, that's crazy. That shit don't fly in NYC. What's that, PR Black? Fill me in.
Use a triple beam scale by 8. I was breaking down pounds.
Using a triple beam by 8.
His helpers, I ran my first load across the border at 7.5. I loaded my first car full of drugs and gas tanks at that age. I learned how to use a triple beam scale by 8. I was breaking down pounds, counting money from the age of 8.
Wow.
First for my father, and his drug was, when he came from prison, was marijuana. And once he went on the run, I was left with my older brother, who by then had grown as a drug.
Bro, it's child abuse, bro. Yeah. That there's a lot of different PTSDs and a lot of stuff that gotta come along with this. You know what I'm saying? That has to come along with this.
Drug trafficker, and his drug was cocaine. And my teenage years, I basically was his helper. Trades from Mexico early on, and later on living in Chicago, being with my brother. The clientele changed. He became the neighborhood drug dealer to becoming a bigger kingpin and distributing hundreds of kilograms of cocaine to basically black gangs in the south side of Chicago on the west side. Me being around him, me and my brother being around him for sure had a direct impact because that was our environment. I don't think my older brother wanted this life out. He was indicted in 98, right, as I was turning 17, and there was a vacuum, right? He was the one that provided for the family, and we were used to certain things, and at that time it was like, you're 17 now, you guys gotta go on your own and be men. And he said the only thing you're not going to do is sell drugs. And obviously, to me, it was the only thing we actually knew how to do. And not long after he was arrested.
How could you expect them to know how to do anything else? Wait a minute. We've been eating like this our whole life. You know?
I was approached by his source of supply, who I've known since I was 14, and basically said, I need help to move these drugs. My first actual transaction, like for me and my brother, was a 30-key deal. 30 kilograms of cocaine that we actually sold in a day, and we never looked back.
And
30 bricks in a day, never looked back. 17 years old. Stranger than fiction, bro. Make the movie.
so, Jay, I know there's a lot of different cartels in Mexico, and we had covered those, like I said, in our drug cartel series. But even within those cartels, there has been a splintering of these organizations. So I understand that you were involved way back before some of the current divisions have occurred within the cartels in the Sinaloa area. Can you tell us a little bit about what organizations you worked with and what kingpins you worked with?
Sure. Well, my early days in Chicago, being in Chicago when I didn't really care about the Mexico politics, I worked directly with people from the Gulf Cartel and the Sinaloa Cartel. But once I got to Mexico, I worked directly with the Sinaloa Cartel and the heads before the split. So there was far less drug cartels organizations than there is today. Back then, it was mainly maybe 5 cartels in total in Mexico, and the biggest being the Sinaloa Cartel. That was 3 different fractions. One was led by Chapo Guzman, the other by Mayo Zambada, and the third by Arturo Beltran Leyva, who is now deceased. I worked directly with each of them through their organizations and with their family members. So I worked directly with Chapo Guzman. Later on, my brother and I became one of the most important witnesses against him and testified at his trial, as well as Mayo Zambada. He's been indicted. I think he's the longest running cartel boss, I think, in probably many countries, right? He has a 45, 50-year reign almost as the boss. And Arturo Beltran Leyva, we also cooperated against him, and he was killed in a military operation in 2009.
What about Los Chapitos? Or were they too young when you were out there doing your...
Yes, at that time, even though they were young, they were already in the business. I was able to, on the Chapo side, I worked with his son, Edgar Guzman, who was deceased, and with Ivan and Alfredo Guzman, who were part of my indictment and my initial indictment out of Chicago. So we continue being witnesses on that case for them. And on the Mayo side, we've indicted all his sons, which was Vicente Zambada, Mayito Gordo Zambada, and Flaco. Yes, we worked with them as well. I was actually one of the first persons that they actually sold the first drugs to. Even though we were young, I was more advanced in drug trafficking than they were. And Chapo actually asked us to basically help mold them and help teach them the drug business in the United States at one point.
Come on, man. There was dude's sons camp counselors and shit. To teach these guys that were being bred. They wanted to utilize these guys that were bred and brought up in the game to train these guys that were bred and brought up in the game. Pierre Black said, "What you can push the drugs." Yeah, back then there was you were able to hold those lines on people, just the way the power structure was, But throughout so many different RICO cases, it just broke all of that type of shit apart. Yeah, so I'd expect it to work here probably different than it would be anywhere else. Nathan Wallace said, "I thought all the drug money the father and older brothers were making would go towards sending the Flores twins to private schools. What did they actually use the drug money for? To live and to hustle some more?" to get down by the way. But the twins are not that story. They're not those guys that went to an Ivy League school and that's where they got their smarts from. It all came from experience and, you know, just what they had in them. They gave up, you know, at 17 years old, 30 bricks, first flip. School is a thing of the past at that point, you know what I mean? So yeah, they were not private school kids. Eddie Menace said, sorry bro, just catching you live. Where's this podcast from? I'm late, glad to be here. Mr. Eddie Jimenez, salutes to you. Appreciate you on the check-in. You got a lot of catching up to do. We've been talking our shit for 2 hours already. So when we're done, go start from the beginning, or if you'd like, go on and start there right now. But this is just an interview that they did. And it's recent, very recent. So I'm going through it. Jonathan Pantoja said, what's good, my dude Shah Ill? What great content are you providing for us today? Salutes on you doing your thing. Keep doing your thing. Baba, we've been here 2 hours. You got some catching up to do. We got a lot of good stuff. We've been in the mix talking our shit for 2 hours. Salutes to you for being here, though. I appreciate you. PR Black said, amazing. Hundreds up. Hundreds up to you, too. Hundreds up for Jonathan. I appreciate y'all being here. We on it.
Ivan's my age. Alfredo's 3 years younger than me. They were already getting involved in the business, you know, at a high level back then.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that with us. Very, very interesting. Sounds like you're moving some major weight back in the day. I know the world of drug trafficking is very competitive. Of course, there's plenty of customers, but still, I know that sometimes there are conflicts with other drug trafficking organizations. Did you ever have any of those, and how did you resolve those conflicts?
Well, I think the fact that we never joined a gang helped us because I could actually do business with different gangs or organizations. It helped us, but it also created a lot of issues for us. But for the main part, I think understanding, you know, my upbringing and understand the gang politics and being, you know, in those environments certainly helped to see what made sense and what didn't. When I got into business, I felt like I came in with a lot of experience from so many people who failed and so many stories and stuff that I observed, that I was coming into the business as a business and to make money. And for the most part, my brother and I focused on us. I didn't focus what anyone else was doing. And when there were issues, you know, because there were, I would rather take the loss, you know, or go another way than actually have to deal with it. And I don't think it was like, you know, today, hindsight, right? You know, as I look back at it, it wasn't like something that I understood at the time. But each individual situation to me was always like, okay, what am I going to gain? What am I going to lose? And I always took the high road, and it ended up working out for me in the long run. I handled business differently.
Which is why I feel like I believe them now. After this whole year, I believe that they skipped the part about leaving bodies everywhere, dog. It was just a gut intuition for them to know that they didn't want to be part of that part of the game. You know what I mean? Nathan said, what better way you can spend money on a child than educating him and sending him to the best private schools? And why haven't a lot of these lords done it? Amado Fuentes did it with his son. A bunch of them have done it. I believe they did do it. I believe a few of them have done it. I just don't know what benefit it did for them. I'm sure it benefited their kids with knowledge and education, and I'm sure it would be a good strategy, but that wasn't their life. That ain't what happened, you know. And then their father did get locked up, and they had a brother raising them, and they were going to regular schools and shit like that, you know. Guess who did go to private school, though? Off a cop's salary. Val. 030 North said, I need to make an Instagram or Facebook so I can send you pictures of our trip with the women. Get in the Discord. You can send us pictures in the Discord. You got a Discord? You got the Discord? Get in the Discord. I'm thinking of having after parties, after lives. We go on the Discord and chop it up for a bit. Download Discord right now. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put up the invitation to our Discord right now in the live, in the chat. And you can send us pictures of the Discord. I'll make a section over there that to hide the good stuff. Paste. Boom. There we go. There's the Discord link right there, 030 North. Hit that link right there. It'll tell you get yourself a Discord account. And boom, sign up, get in my Discord, and then we can chop it up in there. I need to make an Instagram, Facebook, so I can send you pictures of our trip with the women. Do that shit. You probably got old girl old girl that got your boy for the 500. She's in the camera like this. There's one picture in there that's hangover style, and she's like, we get the 500 in the hand, like, thanks, bruh. I'm not just pocket watching. I'm digging. PR Black said politics. I get it. To me, Chicago beneficial. I definitely respect the shine. I'm from Brooklyn. Salutes to you. I respect Brooklyn. Got friends in Brooklyn. Love New York. Shout out David Perez for the subscription. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you for checking in. Hit that like button, please. Nathan Wallace said, because all rappers send their children to private schools and don't allow them to visit or interact with anyone from the hood. Yeah, because the name of the game is get out. The name of the game is not stay there. Now, if you can reach your hand back and create opportunities for other people, cool. Not everybody's going to appreciate the opportunities that you extend to them. Some people are going to smack your hand away like Buddy, who I offered the platform to today. You know? Jonathan Pantoja said, I remember when you were doing the Surviving El Chapo podcast from season 1, you were quick to point out that they had a university education at their young age. Yeah, bro. Them dudes they ain't no dummies. They're slick. They're thoughtful. And that's all it takes. We move through life with blinders on, listening to what somebody said, and then regurgitating that without questioning to ourselves, does this make sense? You know, does this make sense?
Could take a loss, you know, later on as my business grew and my...
So again, you know, they had an internal gut feeling that they shouldn't get into the unaliving game, you know, which is why I believe they stuck to that. And you know, because there's no statute of limitations or timeline for unaliving somebody, which is why I think they would have got it all out when they did all their proffering and testifying. They would have got it all out so that it can never haunt them again. Right now, it can haunt them. Felix Reyes said, "Don't forget McDonald's." I never forget McDonald's. That was a crucial part. It's nacho cheese. For those that don't know, please catch up. You know what I'm saying? Don't ask me, did we ask them this, did we ask them that, if you haven't watched the interview. Go find out what we asked them by watching the interview. But, here, matter of fact, I got the link for it right here. I'm going to drop that in there. Copy. But for those that don't know, the McDonald's story is, you know, they worked at McDonald's. They went and got a gig, and they saw how McDonald's worked. You know? And they moved the way they try to move their business the way they saw McDonald's move their business. Make it simple, make it dummy proof, get it to the point where nobody could ruin it. And that helped them for a long time build their empire, you know. At the end of the day, it was all crushed by violence, jealousy, you know, anger, ego, just all the things that kill business.
When am I going to lose? And I always took the high road, and it ended up working out for me in the long run. I handled business differently. I could take a loss, you know, later on as my business grew and my organization started to grow. You know, there's times that, you know, people don't realize this. I used to buy beef. It's simple, you know, there's someone always, you know, bigger or shot caller that could decide that. I could be like, you know, hey, I have a problem with Gabe, but here's, you know, 25,000 and I just want to be left alone. And that would settle it.
There it is. He said he would buy the beef. Somebody on his team had a problem with somebody else. We can go to war, or I can offer y'all some money to just go your own way and leave this shit alone. Because I got work to do. Nathan said, what do you think about Our Prophet and his channel? I don't really think about it. You know, I stopped going there because, you know, nothing made sense anymore. That's pretty much it.
So I would actually do that stuff even for some of my people in my organization just to avoid certain problems.
It sounds like you learned very young about that world and how to conduct yourself as a businessman. And the way you conducted business, you were out to not create a lot of enemies, but I'm sure you created a lot of friends in that world. So can you tell us then, what year were you arrested and how did that come about?
Well, you know, my first deal, like I said, was at 17, you know, by the time I was 18, I was already pushing anywhere from 300 to 400 kilos a month. I made my first million before I turned 18.
18 years old. 300-400 a month. 100 metric tons a month. Um, Nathan said, but I think this channel and even the Flores twins' experience are educational as a cautionary tale and even an insight into human nature, into how money and power and jealousy affects loyalty. Absolutely correct. I agree with you 1,000%. Jonathan Pantoja said, I think Vicente Zambada lived out here for a time and went to college. I agree, Jonathan. I was trying to think of who it was, and it was him I was thinking about. University. I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I heard it somewhere before he got popped. Yeah, I believe it was him. I believe it was him.
And it just continued to evolve. And that was in 98. By 2001, I was already pushing anywhere from 800 to 1,400 kilos a month without ever stepping a foot into Mexico before I even knew any direct links to big bosses. I was actually indicted in 2004. I have a case out of Wisconsin. But
so they were doing 300, 400 a month, bricks a month, without having any major connections, and they was copping from everybody, from somebody connected to all the cartels, but they did that on their own, and that was COD from my understanding, cash on delivery.
But in 2003, by then I was pushing well over 2,500 kilos a month in Chicago, Milwaukee, Minneapolis.
So from 300 to 400 to 2,500 a month. Damn.
Atlanta, Detroit, Michigan, and those surrounding Chicagoland, areas like little places like Iowa and stuff. I decided for personal problems to go to Mexico, and by then we already had a little hub in central Mexico where my father was from, where we had bought ranches, and it was my home. I've been going there since I was a kid. It was like a second home to me, and I went back to Mexico for a long break, and I was indicted in February 2004. The feds had picked up a case out of Wisconsin, and it was a drug seizure. I think 425 kilos. One of our trucks had got pulled over on the highway, and they did a controlled delivery where part of some of my workers in my organization were arrested and cooperated. I fled. We were already in Mexico. My brother was in Chicago. He fled, and our life in Mexico, that's where our life in Mexico actually began. And we were there from early 2004 to late 2008, where I wasn't basically arrested. In early 2008, my brother and I actually voluntarily reached out.
So it was a 4-year run with them in Mexico. 2004 to 2008. Not a lot of time at all. Not a lot of time at all. And a lot happened in that time. A lot. What's that J line? Your reign at the top was short as leprechauns. Like 4 years. 4 years. People think. Look at Tupac. People think Tupac was on death row forever. That was like less than a year, 9 months, 10 months. You know what I mean? Like 2004 to 2008 was them doing the whole cartel thing out there. They were here. They was moving their work. Whatever work they got from whoever they got it from. 030 North said Al Prophet is trash. He picks and chooses who he likes. Yeah, it says whatever he wants, whether it's true or not. You'll never catch me here blatantly promoting a lie for whatever fucking reason. Never. Was they still in their 20s when they left the drug business? Yes. Yes. They were like 25 years old when they got out the game. In 2008 when they began to cooperate, which is getting to now.
I wasn't basically arrested. In early 2008, my brother and I actually voluntarily reached out to the government and offered to cooperate. And we cooperated from April of 2008, and our cooperation ended in Mexico in November 30th, 2008.
My understanding is even though you decided to cooperate, you did do some prison time, correct?
Yes. In 2015, I was sentenced to 14 years in federal prison. After 14 years, I served 12.
And so then how long has it been since you've been out?
Yeah, I was released in November 2020. So I've been out a little over 3 years.
And then this is the question I've already been asked by quite a few people that I have let know about your current situation. Why did you decide to start giving presentations for law enforcement?
So, Gabriel, I think, for the most part, talking really broad about my life, my life is filled with a bunch of tragedy, ups and downs, and I will consider mine and my brother's organization as being one of the most successful drug trafficking organizations at one time in the U.S. or maybe in the history of the United States. When I voluntarily decided to like change my life around, I didn't know I was actually going to survive that. I felt like I had risked my life each and every day to do wrong. You know, as now maturing, having a family, a wife, understanding what mattered to me, I felt like I needed to do something good. I always felt like I was in the gray area where I grew up in that environment. And I don't like to say I didn't have a choice because I chose to do that each and every day. At 17, I felt like I knew exactly what I was doing. And I don't like to make excuses. But what I did decide.
And he's not making excuses for it. Mind you, there's things that every human being is gonna try to reason and make excuses for. That's natural. But he's letting it be known.
To thank God for, you know, for family, for my wife and for my children that, you know, I wanted to give a try of being someone better, you know, doing something different from what my dad did to me. I felt like my kids were getting a little older. I didn't want to put them in the same environment that I was being raised in. And of course, conflict in the cartel for sure just added to my decision. You know, at the time I reached out to the government, I think that, you know, my brother and I were probably we were at the top, sitting down with the biggest drug lords in the world, you know, protected on all sides of anything. And that wasn't fulfilling to me. I felt like there's something more in life. And once I felt like I survived and I was in prison, you know, I felt like I had a lot of time to think, you know, what was going to be the next part of my life. And I just felt like I was meant to survive for a reason, something bigger than me. And I'm still young enough where I have long life to live, and I wanted to do something positive to leave my kids with a positive legacy that I was more than a drug trafficker or more than a cooperating witness. And I wondered, you know, redemption, which is important to me, and giving back. I always wondered, well, what was that? And one thing I will say that I'm confident, and I know it doesn't sound something good, is that I was good at drug trafficking. And I had time to sit there and think of what made me successful and try to reverse engineer that. And I feel like I have knowledge and experience that I want to share to hopefully give back and do something positive, and not just for law enforcement, but hopefully inspire someone else who's in similar situation as we grew up in, right? That maybe that was not the right path, right? Prisons are filled with failed drug traffickers and criminals, nothing but
Absolutely.
failures and fake dreams. And I feel like with my story, because you do hear a lot of different stories of my brother and I, that it has that attention, and I wanted to make sure that I never glamorized that life and hopefully bring awareness. And I thought that I happened to be on social media and I found this law enforcement training company. You know, I started researching different ones and I thought some of them were good, but I felt like some of them needed help in what they were kind of, you know, sharing. And I thought that I'd be the perfect person to actually come in from a different perspective, someone with real knowledge and experience and the know-how, you know, and the want to make a difference to come in and teach law enforcement, especially in the war against drugs.
Very good. Well, I, for one,
He
appreciate
can sit there and tell the cops how he got past their goof ass all those years.
you sharing this information and information you have shared over the last few years with law enforcement and with the general public to make them more aware of what's going on. And I know you can't undo some of the damage you've done in the past, but you certainly can make a positive difference in the future for yourself and for your family, as you've said so eloquently. So I, for one, support you. You're in my prayers, and I hope nothing but the best for you, my brother.
Yeah,
How can people get a hold of you if they're interested in getting a law enforcement presentation from you?
yeah, Gabriel, I appreciate that. I know that there's people that could have their doubts, and I will never be able to undo that wrong I did. But I want to make it clear, my brother and I turned ourselves in. I cooperated against the biggest drug lord in the world, testified against him, brought the biggest case to the United States that continues on to this day. I have to be responsible for the wrong, and I have to be responsible for what I tried to do. You know, I risked my life. I'm here. I developed this course called From Kingpin to Educator. I work with a company called Dynamic Police Training, and you can visit the website at www.dynamicpolicetraining.com, where we offer these courses around the country. And I hope that I'm going to be able to continue to give these courses, maybe just not in the United States, but around the world. And I'm working on a few different projects that could help law enforcement companies. I'm talking to a couple of technology companies where I'll be able to try to work together with them and try to bring some, you know, a different mindset and how drug trafficking is combated.
Well, thank you once again. And we'll put that website up here at the end of this video for people in case you didn't catch that. I would highly recommend this individual for law enforcement training companies. He is the real deal. He was there about as deep as you can get in that world. So thank you once again for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. And once again, you're in my prayers. If you ever need anything, you know how to get a hold of me.
Thank you so much, Gabriel, for having me. I appreciate your support. It means a lot.
Take care. God bless.
All right, salutes to Gabriel Morales and his channel, which is, what is it? Gangsters, Cops, and Politicians. All right, y'all could go give him a follow if you want to check that out. He's giving Jay some promo over here for Jay's business. Jay's basically full on, narco status. You know what I'm saying? Full on policia type shit right here. He's training these police how to figure it out. Let me get back to the chat real quick. Felix Reyes says that shit's crazy because after 2004, I remember the price dropping. That's because nobody was paying nobody. It was cowboy shit. Everybody was just stealing what was left over at that point. Dr. Padoja said, I wonder how they stack up aside. But we were talking about that earlier with BMF. Since they were as flashy and pushing a lot of weight as Meech and around the same time period. Yeah, I want to do a whole video about that, and I want to talk to the twins about that, about the comparisons to BMF. So we're gonna get into that eventually. PR Black said money and money and unaliving people don't mix together well. Yeah, it doesn't. It's a mess, but you seem to expect it already from the game. Nathan Wallace says it seems like they were babies in the game to leave around 25, but they were groomed from the age of 7 years old. So although they were young, they were veterans, and absolutely veterans. And not only that, made it to the upper echelon by the time they were 25. Made it to the top, all the way to the top. Again, perspective. You got to stand on top of that mountain and know what the air feels like up there. Nathan Wallace, PR Black said they use the same concept more or less of McDonald's. Yeah. Nathan Wallace said, how much money did they give back to the government? Millions of dollars. I don't know exact number, but millions of dollars. We'll look into that. I don't remember. I don't recall. And you get different numbers from different parts of the timeline. So Felix Reyes said, I wonder if him teaching the feds was part of the plea agreement, because if it wasn't, it's like he's doing too much. Because if it wasn't, I think he's doing too much for that. Yeah, it wasn't part of the plea agreement. This is him doing what he wants to do. This is what he wants to do. This is what he feels like his lane is. Again, like Frank Abagnale from the Catch Me If You Can movie. You know what I'm saying? Or the real life story. It was a dude that was so good at forging documents that after the feds popped him and he did his time, feds came to him for help, and eventually he ended up working for them. It's the same thing that Jay's on. Jay wants to do this. He feels like this is his redemption. His redemption is to teach people how to stop the trade. He's in the war on drugs. You know what I mean? I just feel like America doesn't want that war to end, Salutes to Ron the Strong in the chat. Yo. Salutes to you, Ron the Strong. JC, we'd love to have you on the show one day, bro. Appreciate you. Again, guys, now y'all asked about Al Prophet. Al Prophet, again, you go over there, you can't find nothing to watch. Ron the Strong, you're going to find something to watch and get into. So make sure y'all go give him a follow and check him out. 323G said, yo, salutes. I guess he's talking to JC. But again, salutes JC. Welcome on the show anytime. Let's see. PR Black said, gotta respect him for that. Yeah, I mean, it's Jay's doing what he want to do. He want to teach these feds, how he beat their ass for all those years and got all these loads past them. That's what he wants his redemption story to be. That's his choice. You got it, JC. I'm gonna reach out to you, bro. I appreciate you. Let's talk. There's a lot. We got a lot to talk about. Like I want to hear a lot. I want to hear a lot of stuff. I want to hear some dog stories. I want to hear a lot of stuff. So I'm definitely gonna reach out to you. I'll hit you up mañana. I'll reach out to you. I'll get at you somehow. We'll figure it out. Let's see. Jonathan Pandora says, JC legitimately in the chat? Absolutely, sir. He's in the building. Adrian Torres said, is that the real Wrong the Strong on the chat? It is. Nice. Hope you interview him soon. Looking forward to it, Adrian Torres. You already know. Nathan Wallace said, do you think Ed Calderon or Hector are the experts that the media claims them to be? I think they're experts. I don't know how much the media claims them to be, but the media is going to puff everything up, blow everything up. That's a fact, you know. You know, so y'all keep in mind, you know, Damian Cash, he had already told me to holler at him. I was less prepared for interviews back then, more prepared for interviews now. So we're going to get Cash on. I'm going to reach out to him. I'm going to reach out to JC for sure. He said all day. Salutes, JC. I appreciate you. I'm going to reach out to them. I got a lot of people I'm reaching out to y'all. A lot of people I'm reaching out to. Yesterday, Spider Loke came up in the comments with some new information. I'm not going to talk too much about it. I'm waiting for his response on a date and time. Because I offered him the opportunity to come on the show and talk to us about these new developments and how he feels about, you know, what we're talking about when it comes to the G-Unit spinner chain. So I'm looking forward to that. We'll see what's good with that and get it popping. 030 North in the chat. It was good, JC. For sure. JC 030 North he's showing off today, man. He partying, boy. He's in Santo Domingo right now, getting his party on with the boys. His homeboy is down 500. But, you know, they're having a good time. Salutes to them. They want to share pictures with us and shit. Adrian Troy said, how's it going, JC? Much respect to you, bro. Facts. But yeah, so the person that said, was it part of the deal for Jay to do this? Nah, man. This is Jay digging in his bag and saying, this is what I can do. This is my way of, you know, paying it forward and paying it back. This is what I'm going to do, you know. This is what I'm going to do, so. It is what it is. Everybody can have their opinion about it, but at the end of the day, what does it matter? Ronald Strong said it's all love. PR Black said we appreciate the check-in. Hundreds up. We absolutely do appreciate the check-in. Hundreds up. Bam, 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 bam. Facts. All right. What's next on the agenda here? Y'all are still with me. Let's keep it moving. So we also have something that's fresh off the presses, and I'm just going to stay on the same train because we're talking about this dynamic police training shit that Jay's doing. He had an interview that went live this morning with a Republican congressman from Arizona, Mr. Andy Biggs, on his podcast called What's the Biggs Idea? I see what you did there, buddy boy. See the Biggs Idea. So Jay was on here. It's along the same lines as the last the last conversation. This is Jay Margarito Flores talking to this guy's in Chuquichingon State in AZ. Dolo Solo on the check-in. Hundreds up for you, sir. Salutes. Nathan Wallace said, did the Flores twins ever speak about they laundering their money, especially when it's the millions? No, we'll talk about that one day. Again, it was a very short interview with us, and I've never run into them talking about how they clean their bread. Remember, season 1 of Surviving El Chapo, I was an advocate of they need more fronts. They need to hide all that bread. You know what I mean? PR Black said, dope interview. Salutes to you. I appreciate you, bro. Jonathan Pantoja said, maybe it's remorse or conviction for a life of what they were made to believe, a life full of wrong. Yeah, man. I mean, everybody chases their demons the way that they can. You know what I'm saying? Everybody looks for their redemption the way they can. And the fact that, you know, some people you might have a kid that want to grow up and be a cop. And you were a criminal, you know what I'm saying? And that's what that kid wants to do. You know what I mean? This guy feels like he could get his redemption, and he feel like he's doing something positive by trying to stop something that he knows. He's seen how ugly this game is. He's seen how many people it boils and ties to trees. You know what I'm saying? So if he wants to stop it, that's his business to, you know, go over there and do what he's doing. You know, that's not a Flores twins thing. That's a Jay Flores thing. Because it's not like they're in tandem over there doing, you know, tag team classes and shit, you know. So that's on him. Whatever he want to do, that's on him. Dolo Soto said redemption, bro. Yeah, everybody who can chase their redemption, they do it how they can. When they make the decision to turn around and chase their demon rather than their demon chasing them, They're going to do it however they can. And if he believes, hey, man, what do I know very well? What can I use for positivity? Oh, I know how to do this game. I know how to beat these cops. Let me teach these. Now, I'm hoping he's over there giving them mad misinformation. You know what I'm saying? But why am I hoping that? Because that's just the natural affinity in me to want the guy in the bottom to win. You know what I mean? The guy at the curb, the guy in the dirt. Orale, JC, AZ repping, Tucson in the house. Chucky Chingon. Absolutely, Chucky. This is an interview with a congressman from Arizona right here. Andy Biggs right here with Jay. Came out this morning. Nathan said, how long is left on this podcast session? Shit, probably another hour and a half. I don't know. We don't move like that around here. When it's moving, we keep it moving. So, you know. But you can always leave, come back, whatever works for you. Catch the playback. Everybody who got in here late, I'm confident they're going to catch the playback. So we good. We kicking it. Here we go.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of my semi-regular podcast called What's the Biggs Idea? I am Andy Biggs, Congressman from Arizona's 5th Congressional District, and I am honored to have with me a special guest. I met this morning, had the pleasure to hear him speak, got to talk to him a little bit about his life, and I'm just honored to have him with me. And you can't see him because his image is blurred, and I'll explain why in just a moment. But my guest is Margarito Flores, who currently works for Dynamic Police Training.
Yes, sir.
And teaches law enforcement how to better catch people who illegally transport drugs and money. And I'm going to call you Jay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and I
Fine.
appreciate that. And the reason that his face is blurred out is because Jay, and you'll hear more about this, but he worked in the Sinaloa Mexican drug cartel. He knew Joaquin El Chapo Guzman and actually testified against El Chapo and spent some time in prison because you're drug trafficking itself, drug distribution, I should say. And I want to just get to where we were going this morning a little bit. So how did you get into this? And tell us a little bit about the relationship and how the cartel works.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. It's a privilege for me to be here, for me to come from where I came from and have the opportunity to be sitting here with you. I'm honored and thank you so much for inviting me to be on. So I'll get a little bit into my background. I was born in Chicago, Illinois. I have a twin brother named Pedro. Mm-hmm. Me and my brother were born into a family of drug trafficking.
Bro, could they have used any bigger pixels? Shit, damn, bro. They turned dude into a roadblock.
My father was in prison when I was born and didn't come out till I was 7 years old. And when he came home, he basically started to teach us the drug trade at the age of 7. Mm. So my life in drug trafficking began between the 7 and 8 years old. I trafficked my first load across the border at that age. And over the years, it was education into the drug world, where I learned every parts of what was drug trafficking, from the cultivation, harvesting, to the importation, the smuggling, every aspect of it. From the age of 7 to the age of 13, it was more of a Mexican based education, where we would transport marijuana in hidden compartments across the border into Chicago.
And this is with your father?
It's with my father, yes.
Okay.
So we were basically used as helpers, or cover loads as well. Like, we would help with the cover loads. At that time, twins were not that common, and so we were a big deal. So that kind of helped, and we were transporting drugs north to Chicago. So this happened to the age of 13.
Chucky said, damn, they about to tighten up AZ borders. Damn, Jay. Bruh, you need to get his ass. Next time he's on the show, bro, you need to get after him about this. Like, bruh, my congressman, out of all congressmen you could have talked to the week after you was on Shy Show, you gonna go talk to my congressman, bro? Damn.
My father actually got indicted so that kind of helped,
Oh, shit.
and we were transporting drugs north to Chicago. So this happened to the age of 13, where my father actually got indicted and fled the country to Mexico.
Okay.
Us being American and born and raised in Chicago, we didn't want to go live with him, and he gave us the option to stay with my older brother, who by then, was a drug kingpin himself in Chicago. He was a cocaine distributor, and from the age of 13 to 17, we basically learned the cocaine business. We would help our older brother in doing everything that involved distribution and helping with cutting up the drugs, counting money, and basically learned that business from the age of 13 to 17.
Was this related to Sinaloa Cartel at that time, or is that pre-Sinaloa?
No, at that time, through my father's connections, it was Sinaloa Cartel. It was mostly based to the Sinaloa Cartel, Flores Cartel mixture. And towards the end of my brother's drug trafficking, it was strictly Sinaloa.
I see.
And my older brother was indicted right when I was turning 17 for drug conspiracy and sent to prison. And he was our financial provider, which left that vacuum, left a void. And it was our turn to kind of step up and pick up where he left off.
How many siblings did you have in the family at that time?
In total, there are 7 of us. There are 7 of us. As I explained, my life has been affected by every means when it comes to drug trafficking. I had an older brother who died of a heroin overdose when I was 14. And my older brother was a drug trafficker who went to prison, and we basically picked up where he left off. Not long after he was arrested, one of his drug suppliers from the Sinaloa Cartel sent for us and asked us if we would help him distribute some of his drugs. And
now, mind you, when they say all these people from the cartel, they wasn't up there. They was the guys down here, the people that was connecting and getting these distributors popping around the city and shit. These guys were copping from where they can cop when they was here. Let's see. Will the Flores ever consent to having a movie or television series based on their lives? It seems their association with 50 Cent is likely to make this happen. To me, as far as I'm concerned, that's already in the books. Chuck E. Gong, they about to tighten up the border. Jonathan Ladd, Paint and Roll, what's up, my people? Chi-Town Little Village in the house. Salute to you, Paint and Roll. Appreciate you. Thank you for being here. 030 North said, I thought he was going to call him El Guapo. Chuck E. Gong said, why us? Go to Texas. Texas ain't having that. Texas, they're like, just leave us alone. We'll handle ourselves. We don't want the U.S. interfering in our affairs. Nathan Wallace said, I don't know Jay's heart, but he sounds wounded, almost like an animal who has been shot in the leg and is still alive, but limping around where the pains and injuries are obvious. I mean, again, I don't know how accurate that is. That's where you be wilding a little bit, Nathan, but we're going to take it as it's your character. It's all good. You know what I'm saying? Soft spoken, and I'm sure there's a lot of traumas involved with the stuff that he's talking about. And, sometimes you just don't want to scare Mr. Biggs over here, saying things too slick. You got to talk his language. He's talking his language.
My first deal was for 30 kilos of cocaine.
That's not his language. That make his brows go up right there. Like, damn, 30? That's what Andy Biggs wants to say. Damn, 30? One day? First deal? That's what he wants to say. But he can't say that shit. He's like, I wish I'd have known you in the early 2000s.
It was worth over $500,000 and we sold those 30 kilos in the same day. And the next day we received 50 kilos, and we sold those 50 kilos that same day. And it took us longer to count the money than to actually sell the drugs. And basically, we never looked back. By the time we were 18, we were selling anywhere from 300 to 400 kilos of cocaine a month. This is without us ever stepping foot into Mexico. This is Chicago-based.
That's it.
Chicago-based, and all supplied by Sinaloa, or
Yes, at that time.
You see, he wants to keep going to that. You see how he wants to keep going to that? Because Jay's showing him, we're not Mexico's monster. We're America's monster. Right? He keeps telling them that. This is all before we got to Mexico. And what does Lil Big's buddy Zombie Face do over here? He keeps saying, but that was like from Sinaloa, right? It came from Sinaloa, right? It came from, because they don't want him to be America's monster. They want them to be Mexico's monster, right? They don't want no part of it. Every time he makes it clear, Chicago, but it was Sinaloa, right? Right? Come on, man. See through your shit.
Supplied by Sinaloa. As our operation grew, between 99 to 2001, we were supplied by the Gulf Cartel as well.
See?
By 2001, we were distributing anywhere from 1,500 to 2,000 kilos a month, and the supply